San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? Happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. We're good to be talking with all of you today, breaking down, obviously, what was another thriller of a Padres-Dodgers game last night. Unfortunately for the Pods, it goes the way of the Dodgers. Now, we have a lot to break down from last night's game. We got a lot to talk about in terms of the ins and outs of how last night's game played out, where things went right, where things went wrong. And for me, I think the biggest, what's the biggest talking point right now after last night's game? There's two things. It's the Mason Miller pick off the first, and it's whether or not Sung-Moon Song should have caught the ball on the throw from right field. Am I missing anything on that? I think that was probably the two biggest things.
It's the entirety of the ninth inning, too, and especially with what Sung-Moon Song did on the first pop-out, almost running through Fernando on that. So that was also a narrowly avoided disaster.
There was a lot of things I thought that went wrong for the Padres last night, and we talked about it yesterday. What fuels the Dodgers? Mistakes, errors. That is what fuels the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is what has fueled the Los Angeles Dodgers for the last 10 years. That's why we talk about all the time. You can't overhype the series or start thinking about it at a higher level than it really needs to be, because when you do that, what happens? You make mistakes. Now, I don't think that's the reason why the Padres made mistakes last night. They're human. Okay, they're going to make these mistakes throughout the course of a 162-game season. Maybe in the higher pressure situations, they made a couple more mistakes than they usually do because it's the Dodgers. But I'm telling you, there was a lot of things that were mistakes by the Padres that are fixable, and there were some things that also didn't go their way. Bottom of the fourth inning, I think that was a situation that kind of didn't go your way. You got the single by Jackson Merrill. You got the ground rule double by Ty France. The problem was, by the time the ball bounced over the fence, Jackson Merrill was already rounding third. So he had to go all the way back. Go back to third base. He probably would have scored if that ball goes off the wall. That's the difference in a one-run game. That's an unfortunate. That's a hang with him right there. That was one of the problems in the game last night. Okay, another thing. Let's go back to the ninth inning. We had the Sung-Moon Song situation with Fernando on the almost collision, but the biggest takeaways where, you had Alex Call dead to rights on a pickoff and you throw it into right field. Okay, I think both players in this deserve some blame, if you will. I don't really want to play the blame game, but when you look at that situation and the pickoffs, I don't know about you. Maybe I've missed it. Maybe I'm not paying attention to fine detail of every single Mason Miller outing. How many times can you recall him picking over in any type of game?
When you throw that hard, you really don't need to pick off.
But in general, how many times has he really picked off? I mean, has he ever been worried about runners on base?
I can't.
Not really, no. Right? I mean, he's been throw out the whole 30-something innings he went scoreless where he was unbelievable and nobody could even touch. Nobody could get on base anyway. Throw that out the window in any of these games. 1-run games, 2-run games, 3-run games, tie games, any situation that Mason Miller is in, what is he always focused on? The batter. He's hardly ever focused on the guys on base. And I'm not saying he needs to more. There's no reason for him to be. He's an electric closer. He doesn't pick off a lot. This is not like a starting pitcher that does this all the time that might change some things up a little bit. Okay? Maybe he doesn't throw it as hard. But when you got a guy like Mason Miller who's got a snap throw right? And you don't want him to change anything. He's going to rifle it, even though Alex Call is probably a little bit off the base, and he was dead to rights. I don't think it's a pressure got to him situation. Look at the way he picked off. Yeah, you can pick off by quickly moving over there, but you got to throw it, or you can step off. He doesn't step off. He makes the quick pivot move, which means he has to throw the ball. And if he quick pick, because someone's like, well, he's got to see the guy's way off the bag. Why did you take off of it? If you quick pick over there and you're used to quick pick, snap, throw, if you try to quick pick and then all of a sudden you see the guy and you like immediately you're going to be shocked that he's way off the bag. You know what you're going to do? You're going to stop your throwing motion and then you're going to try to throw it again a little bit lighter. And what is that called? That would be a balk. He would have balked. Okay? You can't just go in the middle of a split second move. You can't just go like, oh, I'm going to take off on this. I'm going to take a little bit off of this. He doesn't know how far he jumped when he started to move. I mean, if you watch the play, like Alex Call gets the shuffle on the secondary as Miller is trying to snap throw over to first base. He's going on first movement. Miller doesn't think he's that far over there. So he's going to use his usual snap throw at first. Ty France, after the game, said, I probably should catch that ball. There could be a situation where Ty's looking at Alex Call dead to rights, and he might not be as locked in on the ball coming at him. So I chalk up that play as an unfortunate play. It's a mistake, but that's an unfortunate play. I mean, that stuff's going to happen. You got a guy that doesn't pick off the first a lot, and you got somebody that's having to catch the ball that who knows how hard that ball was thrown on a pickoff play by a closer that throws the ball 104 miles an hour. Mason Miller's at fault. Ty Francis had a little bit of fault. Overall, it's a mistake. But I honestly can't blame those two guys. I can't sit here and be like, how do you let that happen? That's an unfortunate play. It rolls up the first baseline. Great job by Fernando to hustle over there and get the ball in quickly to at least leave Alex Call at third base. And then you know what? As much as I don't like the guy, Andy Pages had probably the best at-bat I've ever seen against Mason Miller. You know what he did? He just fouled it off. It's like, I'm going to foul this off. I'm going to foul this off. Just get a piece. I'm not trying to crush this ball right now. I'm not trying to, swing out of my shoes on a slider. Just get a piece until he makes a mistake and he wears down. That is how you can beat a guy like Mason Miller. The guy's not perfect. He's going to have these mistakes. He's going to have these outings. He threw 35. What did he throw? 25 pitches 2 days ago? Was it 35 or 25?
He's thrown north of 40 over the last couple days.
He pitched the day before and he pitched over 20 pitches, right?
Yeah,
and then he was up to 20 something pitches during that Andy Pages at bat. Eventually, if you're successful at getting a piece of the baseball every time, eventually you're going to capitalize on the mistake. And Andy Pages didn't have to capitalize on a mistake and put the ball over the fence. He didn't have to capitalize on a mistake and get a base hit. All he had to do was put the ball in the air. He did a job, and he got him in from third base. And again, it's because of a strikeout that got flipped on an ABS. Again, that's unfortunate. It was the right call, but last year that's a strikeout. So for all the times that ABS has helped the Padres, last night that kind of hurts. That's last year. Padres probably, well, I don't know if they win. They were tied at that point. They get it flipped. They save the challenge. They get a guy on first. Mistake on the pickoff leads to a guy to third. And then Andy Pages, all he has to do is put the ball in the air. He puts the ball in the air. Padres still have a chance here, which leads us to our next talking point of the ninth inning. Should have Sungmoon Song cut the ball off or not? As it was live, I was listening to the radio, so I didn't get to see it at the beginning. I went back and watched it. I saw it on the postgame show when I got home. And the initial comments, if I remember correctly from Tony, was probably the right move to cut that ball off. They got a better angle than a lot of the cameras did, and probably a lot of you fans did at the ballpark. when you see on the replay Fernando's throw coming in, it's got that nasty cut that is starting to move up the third baseline. And I'm going to be honest with you. If Sungmoon Song does not cut that ball, there's a good chance that ball's in the Dodger dugout. That's how much that ball was moving up the third baseline. Let's say it's not, and Fermin comes up the line. It's still going to be bang, bang up the line. And instead of the tag being at the plate, it's going to be like let's see if I can just get him as he goes past, running down the third baseline. I think your best chance at that particular play to get call out at the plate was to cut the ball based on the throw from Fernando as it was starting to go offline. Did it slow it down a little bit? Yeah, but I still think the bang-bang play up the third baseline was going to be the same bang-bang play that you saw at the plate. Got a credit call for getting his foot down in time. It's a quick play. I thought Fermin did as best as he could on that play. I mean, you were hoping for a phenomenal play to try to get Alex Call out at the plate. Doesn't go your way. So the ninth inning, a couple of mistakes leads to a Dodger victory. Yet this is why you can't keep them around tight. You got to keep adding on. And this is why you have to limit the mistakes as much as you can against a team like the Dodgers, because they exploit those mistakes. They're very good at that. They have been very good at that for the last decade. It's a reason why they've won a couple of World Series. Look, you could talk about all the money they have spent. You could talk about all the talent that they have, but they capitalize on team mistakes. The Padres have done that all season long. They've done a great job with that. They made more mistakes than the Dodgers did last night. But there was a lot of positives at last night's game as well. I like the way Griffin Canning bounced back last night. I like the way the Padres answered immediately after Canning gave up 2 runs in the first inning. There was a couple of mistakes in between the game, and the Padres made more mistakes than the Dodgers did, and they lose a 1-run game. But I tell you what, that's 2 1-run games against the team that you're that this is the team that you want to measure what you got against throughout the season. They're the team you're directly competing with for the division. They're the team you're directly competing with in the National League. And based on the state of the American League, you want to win a World Series, you're going to have to go through these guys. And so far, through the first 2 games, 1-run games, I'm telling you, like, they've measured up pretty well. They've measured up pretty well. I think. You cut out some of these mistakes, Padres probably win last night. They went down 2-0. They tied it up 2-2. They went up 4-2. Couple of mistakes in between. Didn't add on. You end up leaving with a 5-4 loss. But guess what? Nobody thought you were going to sweep this team. Nobody thought you were going to sweep the Dodgers. It would be nice if you did. But you take 2 out of 3 at home, you're in a really good spot. I thought this series, going into it, is a measuring stick series. Let's see how we evaluate where we're at against the best team in the National League. I don't care about the Braves right now. This is the team. That's my overall takeaway of the game. We're going to dive into some of the positive things that we saw last night as well. But Frank, overall, you said it best in a text message. This is an even matchup. These are 2 even teams over the last 2 days. This is not the Dodgers are just a behemoth that nobody can beat. This team is a little bit more exposed than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, they're not playing at their best, but neither are you. So the Padres, though, clearly, and you brought up 2022 and 2024.
I think playoffs of 2022, when they made the trades at the deadline, had made that team not a David and Goliath anymore.
But you were never expected to beat them in the playoffs, period. 2024, I still think you were a considerable underdog, but not as much as 2022. This year, watching these 2 games, every advantage that the Dodgers have, the Padres have a foil for. Every single advantage the Padres have, the Dodgers have a foil for. You can compare every position by position. Their starting rotation's better, your bullpen's better. But you can compare starting position by starting position and take these guys and say, yeah, there are some positions where, yeah, I'd rather have their catcher, or I'd rather have the Padre third baseman, or whatever. But you have closed the competitive gap between the two teams to such a significant point now where you are seeing, at least, I would say in my mind, at the very least, that you are now considered equals. It's not David versus Goliath anymore, at least from my eyes. It's not one of these teams is a perennial underdog. The way these two games have played out just shows how even these two teams have really become. And the years of going 3-15 against the Dodgers during the regular season, those are long, long gone. I would not be surprised if the season series went 7-6 one way or the other.
I was thinking of that too. In the 13 games, I could totally see that happening. We'll see what happens tonight. But if you just look at the box score, it's evenly matched throughout the entire box score of guys like, oh, Ohtani got 2 hits at the top of the order. Well, Fernando had 2 hits at the top of the order. You got a guy in the middle of the order that hit a home run. You got 2 home runs out of Freddie Freeman. You had a home run at Andujar and out of Manny Machado. I mean, you could go back and forth. Look at the pitching staff. Both pitching staffs gave up 4 earned runs. Both pitching staffs gave up 4 earned runs. The error is what hurt the Padres last night, and that's unfortunate.
And I saw it earlier in the chat. Just want to bring this up. I was a little about Mason Miller pitching on Monday. Last night was a night where he is pitching. Your goal in the top of the 9th inning in a tie game is just to get the game to the next inning. After that, as the home team, the top of the next inning is not guaranteed. So your last real opportunity to use your closer is the top of the 9th inning in a tie game. So if you're going to use him, if you have a plan to use him, whether the game is tied or not, that is when he is going in. He is any closer, doesn't matter who it is, any time through history. Rivera's going in that spot. Hoffman's going in that spot. Billy Wagner's going in that spot. Jacob Junis is going in that spot. If you have your closer and he is available going into the top of the 9th inning in a tie game, that is when he is pitching, because the top of the next inning is not guaranteed after that. So if that is a bullet that you are insistent on using in that game, you're going to use it in the top of the 9th inning just to get to the next inning tied.
Yeah, you have to use your best pitcher right there. I agree. I mean, we're gonna break down some of the other parts of this game that I think went wrong for the Padres. I personally watching, I don't know how many more times you can use Jeremiah Estrada against the Dodgers. For some reason it does not look great. I mean, I saw the Cassaville tweet from yesterday. We'll talk about that when we come back. But every time that you say you can't use one guy, you have to have an answer of who you would use. So we'll talk about that when we come back. I thought Griffin Canning pitched well, considering where the direction he was trending in his last 2 starts. I think he started to flip the trend a little bit. I like the way he responded after giving up 2 runs in the first inning. That could have spiraled out of control, like the way the Padres responded offensively. But you lose a 5-4 game, you make a couple extra mistakes than the Dodgers did. That's why you lost. And unfortunately, hey, that happens in baseball. Got to get him again today. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Just getting started on a Wednesday. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
San Diego FC just gave us the perfect summary of their season in 1 week. First, they absolutely destroyed Austin FC 5-0. The attack was flowing, young players were shining, and for the first time in months, they looked like themselves again. Then came FC Cincinnati. Another entertaining game, another late lead, another collapse. San Diego scored what looked like the game winner in the 96th minute and then gave up the equalizer just seconds later. Literally seconds later. At this point, we know exactly who this team is. Exciting, talented, aggressive, and still learning how to close games. The upside is real. The potential is obvious, but late game defending continues to haunt them every single week. The big question, how long can you keep saying they're young before the results actually have to change? San Diego FC just had 2 matches this week, and we will go over both of them here in this update. The first match was on Wednesday this past week, finally getting over that hump and getting the win. The Austin match on Wednesday was the team that we remembered. For one night, San Diego looked like the club that made the run to the Western Conference Final last season. Everything clicked. It was crisp passing, fast movement, clinical finishing, all the confidence in the world. They scored twice in the opening 17 minutes, eventually cruising to a 5-0 win. And that was a team that looked like they could have put up 10 against Austin FC. Young players stepped up everywhere. David Vasquez scored his first MLS goal and then got another one later on in the match. Pedro Soma scored an absolute rocket that was named man of the match. Marcus Ingvartsen stayed red hot, and of course, Anders Dreyer scoring in the 17th minute. This was the first time in months San Diego truly looked free again. Coach Mike Ivaris calling it something that has been, quote, building little by little. And I was at that match. You could tell very, very easily. Remember, we had talked about on the show leading into that match on Wednesday that Austin FC was worn out from the travel, and they certainly looked like a team that was playing with schedule issues very much in mind. They did look very, very tired. That was not a good team. And that's a game that San Diego FC has to win. They had only won one match away from home. Austin FC had all season long, taking advantage of a tired team. That is exactly what San Diego FC needed to do against the team that they needed to do it against, and they certainly pulled it off. So all of those good feelings, all of that positive momentum, all of the results and the work that we've seen over the last couple of updates looked very, very good. And then Saturday came. Just absolute heartbreak. When it felt like momentum was finally back, the same issues returned. San Diego played entertaining soccer again against FC Cincinnati on Saturday night, scored 3 goals, controlled possession. They even scored what looked like the late winner in the 90th minute +6. It looked like everything was going right. And then disaster. Seconds after Marcus Ingvartsen scored, making it 3-2, Cincinnati launched one desperate ball forward, and San Diego just completely lost defensive shape. We talked about it on the show on Monday as we record this. Manu Dua shading a guy that was already covered, leaving Tom Barlow wide open on the far post, and just a tap-in goal for Barlow. Another late goal, another defensive lapse from these young defenders, and another result just thrown away by the wayside. So the defining theme of this season thus far has been that they can play with anybody offensively, which is why I don't lend too much credence to, oh, it's Chucky Lozano, free Chucky, all this stuff, because he's not really, nothing that he is going to bring is the real issue. Nothing that he is going to bring is going to fix the problems that San Diego FC have. All of the problems that San Diego FC has are from the defensive side, the young defense that this team has, making mistakes. You also have the young keeper in Duran Ferri also making a number of mistakes when he looked really, really good at the start of this season. So that's why I don't put too much credence into the free Chucky, bring Chucky Lozano back into the fold statements, because again, the areas that he is going to fix are not necessarily San Diego FC's problem. Defensively, especially late in matches, they still cannot manage games consistently. And the most interesting part, it keeps happening while relying heavily on young players. Duran Ferri, as we mentioned, teenage defenders, multiple starters on that back line are under the age of 20.
10:24 On a Wednesday, we're talking Padres Dodgers for most of the day today. We're going to talk a little bit MLB later on in the show. Padres Dodgers 5:40 start. No afternoon start though. We got a full week this week. What the heck?
Yeah, I know.
What gives?
We got Monday. Well, it comes back to us next week because we got Monday off, and then we're at the loft next Wednesday.
That is also true. And then I'm off the following Monday.
Must be nice.
Hey, you know what? You got the same amount of days you can take off as anybody else. You can take them off.
I think I've only missed, in 4 years of being here, I think I've only missed one day. And that was Adam called to see if I was okay. And I said one word, and he's like, "Oh, dear God."
Oh, no, you're not.
He's like, "Oh, dear God. Yeah, get some rest.
Go back to bed, dude. Where you become, what is that, patient zero.
Well, no, and it wasn't even because I was sick. It's because I thought, because I sleep with a CPAP machine.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought there was enough water in it for the humidifier overnight, and there wasn't, and it dried out my throat, and it sounds a lot. If you dry your throat out with a CPAP machine, it sounds awful for like a week. It's not fun. But other than that, I felt fine.
Other than that, it was great.
Yeah, no, other than that, I felt fine, but you fool a lot of people. You think into having some sort of uncurable disease.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We are broadcasting live at the Bill House Studios. We know how. We haven't even really paraded the fact that we called the winning number last night.
Yeah.
5 runs. First to 5 win in the day.
And also, what was my bold prediction yesterday?
You said three or more runs off Sheehan in 1 inning. That being the 3rd inning.
How many runs did the Padres get in the 3rd inning?
Did they get 2 in the 3rd inning? They also got 2 in the 1st.
They got 2 in the 3rd inning.
Why couldn't it be a solo home run in the 1st and then a 3-run homer in the 3rd? So close. So close. I thought Merrill hit a home run. I picked the wrong struggling star. Machado hit one instead.
Any one of you guys ever find your way into a casino with me? If you ever find me at a roulette table, bet on one number off each way from where I'm betting.
Roulette table, craps table, any of those tables. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Nate Taylor in the YouTube chat hasn't DM'd you on Instagram about the next time he's going out to Barona or Hamul Casino or 7 Mile Casino with the morning show.
If we're going out to Barona on a Saturday, I'll most likely be at the racetrack. I'll pass the casino right up.
You like the ponies?
Well, there's a lot of ponies.
You like betting on the ponies?
Yeah.
That is so Italian, dude.
Well, no, there's like a couple thousand ponies that I'm betting on.
Frankie Marchese walking in. He's got the linen shirt. He's got the linen pants. He's got the chain popping out, showing a little chest moss.
Not at that kind of dirt track.
I'm here to bet the ponies. You run it into
you got to bet on like 500 ponies at once because they're all together.
You probably run into my cousin Joe Moreno over there. Joe Moreno's over. You know, cousin Joe is always trying to be like, let me get on your show and let me give you I will be your betting expert on the horses. I don't know. I don't know if you have the credentials to be my betting expert on the ponies, Joe. But
I'm trying to slowly guide you into the fact that I'm actually talking about cars.
No.
There's the car racetrack up at Barona.
No, I want you betting on the horses. That's what your Italian heritage is about.
There's one video.
You're supposed to be over there. You and my guy, Eli Deason, can show up to the track, pop the chain out, show a little chest moss, got the linen shirt, linen pants, get the aviator sunglasses. You might have to grow a mustache out. You know what? Who cares? But show up there and just embrace your heritage.
There's one video I always get sent by my friends. There's a horse standing in front of like a Mustang car or a Porsche or whatever. And the guy telling the horse is like, yeah, I don't know how they do it either, but they fit 500 of you in that thing.
I love that. I love that meme. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Dan in Arizona. Dan wants to talk about last night's game. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing? I want to just make one correction. The last time I called in, you mentioned that I live in Yuma. I do not live in Yuma. I live in Chandler, which is in the Phoenix metro area.
Which is way better than Yuma.
The only thing I do in Yuma is get gas before I have to pay extortion prices when I get to California.
My mistake. That what? That's insulting. I mean, well, I don't want to insult the Yuma people out there, but I would much rather live in Chandler, Arizona, than Yuma.
Yes. Now, about last night, I first of all, you forgot to mention Teoscar Hernandez's ball hitting third base and becoming a double, which cost us a run. That was another bit of bad luck. But I don't get Fermin. After we got screwed on the ball that France hit, and Merrill had to go back to third, why did he let Fermin hit? The guy can't. Was he batting 150? That's when he should have used Laureano. And later, when Sheets was up and he put Laureano up, I mean, Sheets is the hot man. I just don't get those moves.
I don't get the move going for Sheets either at that point.
I mean, also, if you want to be superstitious, when you look back at the videos of Tatis from a few years ago ripping the ball, his hair was a lot shorter. He needs to get a haircut.
That's what it is. Yeah, you know what? At this point, superstitions might have to be in play.
Everything else, we tried everything else. Nothing else worked. Cut his hair.
Hey, you know what? He got 2 hits last night, Dan. He got 2 hits last night.
Fernando comes to the ballpark today bald after hearing Dan in Chandler, Arizona's call.
Why are you bald, Fernando? Some guy in Yuma said I need to get a haircut. Oh, Chandler. Oh. Fernando 2 for 5 last night. Did you hear the
I did.
That part of the press conference? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. It's a major eye roll, bro. Major eye roll.
Same guy, too.
Well, the same guy with Manny. Yeah, that was also just
same
major eye roll.
Same guy with Manny, same guy pregame yesterday that we discussed on the show.
Hey, you know what? I get chuckles out of it. I feel that's super awkward for everybody else standing in those scrums. But I sit back and like, I can't believe it. You know what? Credit Craig. Craig's firing back. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. He didn't even ask a question. He was just like, Fernando is struggling. And Stammen, he had 2 hits tonight. Bang, ended that conversation. It's not even a question. Fernando is struggling. What do you want? What's the question?
And then tries to debate Lord actually his way out of it.
The Machado thing. Oh my God. Hey, you're struggling, dude. What's wrong? I'm just working on it.
Yeah.
What's wrong, man? What are you working on? I'm not telling you that. You could tell, like, somebody posted a clip of it, and like Manny heated. Manny wasn't that heated.
He wasn't.
But you could tell. You could tell when Manny is upset. Manny was like, "I don't want to answer this guy's questions anymore." Terrible. Let's get out to Brandon and Carlsbad. Brandon's got to be fired up after game 1, which we didn't hear from Brandon after game 1. Probably still fired up, even though the Padres lost. Positive vibes. What do you got going on for us today, Brandon?
Hey, boys, like you always say, let's have a day, huh? You know, you guys said it great yesterday. I didn't get a chance to give a call. First of all, let's always check in on Frank. Frank, how are we doing, Frank?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I mean, dude, brother, as you guys know, we live in San Diego. I mean, it's San Diego. You know, we're undefeated in that aspect. No one can take that. We're world champs, San Diegan weather, just the beauty. With that being said, good, Frank. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, you guys said it great yesterday. I'm done giving Dodgers the hype. We're all tied for first. Hey, you know what? A great quote from an athletic psychologist that was working with one of the fighters that I was cornering years ago, and that's shout out to Joey the Executioner Beltran from Carlsbad, UFC vet, bare knuckle boxing heavyweight world champion. His mental sensei would tell him, stop painting the picture of your opponents. Have them make a monster out of you. Don't make a monster out of them. So with that being said, we got to stop doing that with the Dodgers. I'm just as guilty as the next. Now, we'll wash that off the board. Whoop-de-doo. Dodgers, back-to-back world champs. Good for you. It's amazing to have all that money and still live in a freaking S-hole. But we're going to go in tonight. Tatis is going to get that home run off of Ohtani. And I'm going to call back in tomorrow and say, I told you so. And if we don't, because that's a possibility, I'm still going to call in and say, let's go, Braden. Let's go, Frank. We got tons of season left, and we don't give them any more power than they need or that subhuman fan base that they got. So you guys, God bless. Let's have a day and go Padres.
What's your since you're not going to call in later for the bold prediction? What's your bold prediction for tonight's game?
That's my bold prediction. Tatis home run off Ohtani.
All right.
He's on the mound, right?
Yeah. Lock it in.
Okay.
Lock it in. Lock it in. Brandon and Carlsbad, home run off Ohtani. We're working on making something out of that.
Like I said yesterday, that's our show prediction every single day. We give individual predictions. So this way we're always
that one was
we'll
more
right.
specific though. He did say off Ohtani. So
he did say off
we'll
Ohtani.
Give you the credit
yes.
we'll give you the credit on that one. We got to take a quick break. Let's talk about the way the Padres answered yesterday. We'll talk about some of the things that went right for the Padres, as well as obviously some other things that went wrong. We already talked about the ninth inning. Don't really want to talk more about that, but lots to pull out of last night's game for the Padres as they take on the Dodgers for Game 3 coming up later tonight at 5:40. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting us over on Sports Station 97 through the Fan. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the fourth consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you could buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearable, stylish hats and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. And see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with a cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have the night. I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it's a bag that you could bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different. My sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums, but now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little. I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. It's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at the ball and a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. I like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too. But the beanie. The one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller, Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform. They got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And broadcasting live at the Bill House Studios. We know how I hate these headphones. I need it. We're changing this.
Battle of the headphones.
I can't do it anymore.
We've lost.
I can't do it anymore.
We've lost Braden here.
Can't. It's just every slight touch to the headphone and the whole thing goes out. Maybe it's the headphone jack.
Yeah, it might be the.
Well, this headphone jack is also not great. How about that? All right,
we're
a little bit better now.
It might be where you're plugging it into because we were having that problem on this side and it wasn't. I ended up buying new headphones because of it.
These headphones are better because I can like do this with the cord. You know what it is? I don't want to throw them under the bus. But I don't know why certain people that sit in this chair wrap their cord around the headphones. It's like this. Just destroys the cord, man. God. It's probably why those headphones don't work. Over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under.
I don't even do that.
Well, you can't really do it with these, but like, don't wrap this around the headphones tight. It's going to ruin the headphone cord.
I just fold them in half and then in half again. So I end up with like a grouping like that. Just
the first day of sports broadcasting class, they had to teach us about rolling cable. That's where I impress Crumb sometimes, because I can roll those cables faster than he can. You had to roll. They teach you how to do the over under technique for rolling cable. I roll all my cords like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the best thing ever because it stays packed, never gets tangled. Just pull it out, nice and easy. Do that with the Christmas lights. Do that with all extension cords. So you don't, and it doesn't wreck. No. That's gonna wreck the arm. It's gonna wreck the cord. You hold the cord over, under, under.
Your hand's too low.
I'm showing it to you. Over, under.
Okay.
Super easy. Doesn't ruin the cords. What ruins the cords? Wrapping it tight around the headphones, wrapping it tight around your phone, and people wonder why they're Chargers don't work. Just saying. So, first day of class, they teach you how to do the over-under. Here's a 500-foot triax cable. Stretch it all the way out and then roll the cable. That is a workout, let me tell you. That's the cable starts. You have to do it on the ground. You do the over-under on the ground. It is a quality PSA. I agree, Koji. I'm telling you, anybody that deals with cables, over-under technique, or you're going to ruin the cord. Got to do it. Frank, you learned something new today.
I did, yes.
You learned something new today. All right.
I learned that you just became Bill and Mike's favorite guy now.
You know, this is why they trusted me to set up my own equipment. This is why, like, when they go, hey, you don't need any help with it. No, I don't. Now you're usually good. You know what you're doing. I will say this. I don't, not to toot my own horn.
We are your IT guy's favorite show.
Oh, absolutely. Not to toot your own horn. But they know if they're getting a phone call from me, something's really broken. For the most part. It's something's. They don't ask me. They don't ask me the questions that they ask Gravy. Is it plugged in? I don't get that. I don't get that question. Did you question? I call. They go, huh?
That ain't good.
I've never heard that before. Never seen that before. I get that. I get like the.
That's usually what I get too.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. They get excited when I call. You want to know why? I give them a new project. I give them something new to work on.
Unless it's that computer monitor there, then
this just never works.
You're stumped on that.
I got too many tabs open, maybe.
Well, no, it's just with him. It's taking the car to the mechanic because it's making a noise, and then when it gets to the mechanic, it doesn't make. It doesn't make the noise.
Absolutely. All right. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I want to talk a little bit about the Jeremiah Estrada situation yesterday. Because I think that was he got hit with a blown save, by the way. Did you know that? Even though it was the sixth inning?
Yeah, I believe it.
So he gets hit with the blown save. He goes 1 inning, 1 earned run, 1 hit. It was the home run to Freddie Freeman, his second home run of the day. And as tweeted out by AJ Cassavell, I got to go pull up the tweet again. But AJ mentioned just how poor it has been for Jeremiah Estrada against the Dodgers. This is what the tweet was. A season ago, 13 of the 28 earned runs Jeremiah Estrada allowed came against the Dodgers. The first batter he faced last night, Freddie Freeman, took him deep. Game was tied 4-4, mid-6. So you go back to that particular situation. Again, I think you have to go back to the situation at hand to really make your decision. You can't do like too much Monday morning quarterback, if you will. But if you go back to that inning, so that was the 6th inning? Go back to the 6th inning of last night, and you look at who was coming up. You could have had a situation where you put in a lefty, because who you got coming up? You got Freeman coming up. You got Tucker coming up. Will Smith's the righty, but then you have Max Muncy. I mean, due up in that inning was a handful of lefties. Adrian Morejon is in lefty in the middle of the game, right? I think he's probably your best lefty in the bullpen. But at the same time, it's a little early for Adrian Morejon. In fact, when that happened, I had some text messages about, like, why aren't you putting Adrian Morejon in at this point in time? I think it's a little early for that. He's one of your back-end guys that you would like. I don't think putting Adrian Morejon in over Estrada would have been the best move, because you needed him later in the game, right? You agree with that?
One more time.
Adrian Morejon in the 6th.
Too
yes
early.
Or no? I agree. Too early. I think you can save him for the later innings. So then it goes, who pitches in that inning? With lefties coming up, I honestly think
Yuki.
I would go with Wandy Peralta.
Yeah, him too.
Wandy did well against the Dodgers last year in an opener sense. I mean, if I'm going to sit here and go, I can't I feel like you can't use Jeremiah Estrada against the Dodgers. I don't know how you would ever be able to get to a point where he feels comfortable against them, and maybe it's an anomaly, but they have hit him so well. I don't know how you can continue to use him against the Dodgers. But with that being said, you are now at a disadvantage if you're just sitting there going, we just can't use Jeremiah Estrada because he doesn't do well against these guys in a 3-game series. I'm playing with one less pitcher now. So you have to find a replacement if that's the case. And you're not going to send him, you're going to put him on the IL for 3 days. You're going to put him on a 15-day IL stint because you got the Dodgers coming up. You're going to send him down to the minor leagues. And if he's on the team, you got to use him eventually. So then you go to the question of, well, maybe you use him in a different spot than a tight game. It's hard to do. But for every time that we make a decision of, I would have done something differently, we have to lay out exactly what we have done. I probably would have pitched Wandy Peralta in that particular situation, which I think scares a lot of people. There's probably some people driving around right now just screaming at the radio, God, this guy's an idiot. I think Wandy Peralta would have been in a better spot there in the 6th inning. I know it was a 4-3 lead, but I honestly, with the way that the game played out and having to use those high leverage arms later in the game, and I want Morejon a little bit later in the game, since Canning can only got you 5, I think you go Peralta right there in the 6th, and that's not necessarily saying that was going to be a different result, but I know you got to believe in your guys. I love that Craig Stammen does that. I don't know how you could have Jeremiah Estrada pitch against the Dodgers. It's his numbers say he can't do it. It just seems like every time he pitches, he's giving up a home run.
I mean, and that happens. I mean, there are players that just see another jersey and they either turn red or turn cold. So that's really not all that, I guess, surprising that would happen. It's interesting with Jeremiah that it's the Dodgers and it's really no other team. What'd you say before? 13 of his 24 runs he gave up last year?
13 of his 28 runs he gave up last year came against the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's
it's so noticeable. Like,
yeah,
there's numbers to back it up. It's not just like, oh, I feel like every time Estrada pitches against the Dodgers, he gets killed. But the reality is, you look at his splits, you look at his career splits, he does not do well against LA. They got his number. They know what they know how to hit him. They're not afraid of him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a mental thing for him, but he does not get the results against LA. He just hasn't in his career. Like, go pull up his career numbers against the Dodgers. It's probably not fantastic. I'm pulling him up right now, the game level. I mean, you want to look at his ERA against the Dodgers? I mean, there's only one other team that has done better against him, and it's because he's only thrown 2 innings, and that's Detroit. He has an Jeremiah Estrada's got 11.57 ERA against LA. He's 0-3 with 11.57 ERA. He has given up 15 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings. 18 hits, 6 home runs. Nobody has homered more against Jeremiah Estrada than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Look, I get it. Division opponent. You see him a lot. But there is nothing to suggest that he's got good numbers against LA. And even his strikeout to walk, it's 13-11. His strikeout to walk against everybody else is way better. And against the Dodgers, he's got 2 more strikeouts than he has walks. He can't. It just is. It can't happen. He can't do it. The stats back it up. And until he can show you that he can in a situation that's not like do or die with a 1-run lead or a tie ball game, it's hard to roll him out there.
Looking at just using this for intrigue, really, Yuki Matsui's numbers against the Dodgers. Because remember, you said you had a friend who is a Dodger fan.
Oh, they hate Yuki Matsui.
That can't stand when Yuki Matsui comes into a game. Yuki Matsui has 12 innings against the Dodgers in his career. 2.25 ERA, struck out 15 to 7 walks, allowed 3 runs on 13 hits.
I can see why the Dodgers don't like Yuki Matsui.
Yeah.
I can see why Dodger fans don't like Yuki Matsui. That's in his
career. That's his career. I would not have been all that upset with him pitching in that spot either, especially because it's early in the game.
So it's earlier in the game, so you have some time to catch back up and recover what damage he may have caused. Same thing with Jeremiah Estrada. But yeah, I would have felt comfortable with Yuki being there.
If you look at Wandy Peralta's stats, and he's pitched for a lot longer, obviously this is his career numbers against the Dodgers. He's 1-1 with a 3.68 ERA in 29 in the third innings pitched. That's not like something to write home about, but I tell you what, it's still better than Estrada. I don't know how many times you can keep rolling him out there.
Yuki's 1-0 with a 225, 15 strikeouts, 1 save, and 14 appearances against the Dodgers.
If you want to look back to 2024, Wandy Peralta had 5 games at a 1.80 ERA against LA. Something to digest when we get back in the 11 o'clock hour. Broadcast live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. All of our guests join us on the STCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. Good to be with all of you today. We talked a little bit about Jeremiah Estrada versus maybe Wandy Peralta in that particular situation last night. You know, I think you're splitting hairs. Eventually, you got to be able to overcome some of the mistakes you make, and you got to make less mistakes than the other team. The Padres made more mistakes last night than the Dodgers did. You lose by 1. That happens in baseball. It's unfortunate. Series is tied at 1. Trying to win the series tonight. It's going to be a tough task. Shohei Ohtani's on the mound. Sounds like Dave Roberts is going to let him pitch and hit tonight. He's only done that a couple of times this season. Trying to limit his workload as well. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. I think this series has been so far a pretty good measuring stick. Regardless the outcome of tonight's game, I think this series has shown that despite the Padres and even the Dodgers not playing their best baseball, it's a very evenly matched series, which I think bodes well for the rest of the season. And I saw Juan Ruiz in the YouTube chat mention it, and I totally agree. This is probably a fun series to watch for everybody else in Major League Baseball that's not living and dying every pitch, to be honest.
That's what makes the 2026, the 2016 World Series so much fun for me, is that I got to watch a great series and I didn't have to care about who won and lost.
Right, exactly. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Mark in Santa. Mark, what's going on, man?
Hey, Braden, Frank, how are you guys? Appreciate you guys. Hey, a couple things, Braden, I was telling Frank offline was, I'm probably not sure if you remember this, about it was probably 3-4 weeks ago, and we were talking about concessions and how much things cost. He said one of the good things about it is that you can bring your souvenir cup to every game and get a refill. Well, ever since that day that you mentioned that, they stopped doing that. So you take your souvenir cup and you take it to the stand, and they look at you and they said, you didn't buy that today. You can't use it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So you can go down on the main concourse and you can get free refills, but they won't let you go ahead and do refills at the stands. And I'm a season ticket holder in 206 Toyota Terrace, and now they won't let you do that. And I'm like, I told my wife, I go, it's all because Braden said something on the air and the Padres caught wind of that. They also told me, Braden, that when I went to the stand, they said, yeah, they're going to start checking cups when you come into the stadium to make sure you're not bringing your refill cups in. So is that crazy or what?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, I don't know the inner workings of what's going on with the Padres. I mean, obviously, their decision on the refills and what they do with that, but that stinks.
Well, Mark, since you seem to be interested in testing out the limits of what the stadium allows in and stadium concessions, could you help
Can
us?
You do us a favor?
Yeah, could you help us confirm from our trivia game on Friday? Can you see if they'll let you bring in a gallon bag of cooked pasta in there? See if that's the thing that you could do at Petco Park.
Don't put it with soda in there.
Oh God!
You'd be like Elf with the pasta with the spaghetti. Oh, that's hilarious.
The chocolate Pop-Tarts too. Jeez.
I can't. No, that's just like
the fact that he actually ate that too.
Yeah, he did that. Like, didn't that come out that he was eating that?
Oh yeah.
Like every time they filmed that scene.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a hell of a sundae that guy made. It's unfortunate that it's over pasta. Have you tried that yourself at the holidays?
No.
Getting maple syrup? No, sorry.
God,
I didn't have it out. He pulls it. Oh, I got some extra. He just pours it all over the spaghetti. Ugh, it's too much sugar. Let's talk about how the Padres last night. Here's the other thing too with the Pods. I want to start with I want to go kind of transition back to some of the positive things about last night's game. I was really encouraged by Griffin Canning last night. 5 days after what was a disastrous outing where he walked 5 batters and got shelled, Griffin Canning bounced back effectively. I mean, the key takeaway is he attacked the strike zone aggressively. Outside of one mistake to Freddie Freeman in the first inning, he competed, limited the damage, and gave the Padres 5 innings against a really talented lineup. And that's very important because the Padres don't necessarily need Canning to dominate. They need Canning to go the whole 5 innings and 4 runs or less, right? 5 innings, 3 runs or less, depending on where he's at in the rotation. I would consider Griffin Canning to be your number 4 starter in this rotation, but he needs to keep the games manageable, preserve bullpen depth as much as possible, avoid catastrophic starts. He did all of that last night. I think that was a successful recovery outing for Griffin Canning, and I think that helps. Again, you're starting to see this. We keep saying this over and over and over again. You're starting to see this rotation stabilize a little bit, materialize, if you will. And I think Griffin Canning did a great job last night.
And for Griffin Canning, like we said, that he's a guy who has said that he likes playing in big game moments. He's a guy who elevates his performance. It didn't look like that after the first inning with Freddie Freeman. And Ohtani, I think, led off the game with a double as well. So it didn't look like a great start. But again, to his credit, he was able to settle in, allowed one more run in the 5th inning, and then he was on lockdown. So you have to expect, like I said last week, you kind of have to expect him to give you bare minimum number 5 starter for a little while before you start expecting a little bit more out of him. 6 innings, 2 runs, something like that. So I think he is well on the course to be able to hit that, because that game could have spun out of control on him very, very quickly, and he was able to rein it back in.
Right. I mean, when I saw that happen last night, I'm like, oh, here we go again. This is going to be a tough game for the Padres to win. And sure enough, I mean, you got to give the man his flowers. I thought that he bounced back well last night. He gave you the outing that you wanted, and you need as a starting pitcher. And he left the game with the lead. He gave the Padres an opportunity to win last night. That's a check off a good outing, solid outing out of Griffin Canning. The other player I thought had a pretty good outing and a really good bounce back from like the start of the season. I think I got to give Adrian Morejon some serious credit. I thought last night was awesome for him because it is one of the more encouraging developments for the Padres with Morejon's 8th inning. I mean, he gave up a leadoff double to Ohtani, which is the guy that he comes in to try to take down, right? He's the lefty that has to face Ohtani. Before it was Tanner Scott a couple years ago. Now he's pitching for the Dodgers. And after a leadoff double by Ohtani, he was able to strand him at third base. He struck out Freddie Freeman with a 100-mile-an-hour heater. He got Kyle Tucker to ground out. That inning may quietly become a turning point in his season. I mean, after an all-star caliber year last year, Morejon opened this year with a 5.66 ERA. He admitted the frustration over bad luck and things outside of his control, which he got a lot of. He got a lot of things to not go his way. I look back to the game that I went to in Boston where he had, threw the ball to second. Jake Cronenworth dropped it, trying to turn 2, right? I mean, that's an unfortunate mistake that happened behind him. He had a lot of those happen so far this season, and he acknowledged he was losing some concentration earlier in the year because of a lot of these things that he could not control. But Morejon, in the daily newsletter from Kevin Acee today, said he simplified his mentality. Stop worrying about outcomes, focused only on pitch execution. And the recent results for Adrian Morejon, 3 1/3 scoreless innings over his last 4 outings. He's improved command. He's improved his confidence, better pitch quality and leverage spots. And for the Padres, a locked-in Morejon changes the entire bullpen ceiling. It's good to have him get back to normal. And again, we've seen a lot of these players for the Padres, position players, starting pitchers, bullpen guys. The ones that haven't gone off to great starts are starting to really settle back in and regress back to the mean in a positive way. That's going to show that this team is going to be a real contender in the second half of the season, or for the remainder of the season. It's good to have Adrian Morejon being back into locked in Adrian Morejon. I think you saw it last night.
Yeah, he's looked very, very good as compared to what he was at the start of the season. And again, that's another guy where inning could have gotten away from him very, very quickly, but he was able to settle in, get the job done that he needed to get done. And a little concerned when we saw that comebacker, but the fact that he was able to field it cleanly, flip to first base, saw the emotion out of him after that play. That was a very encouraging outing for Morejon as well.
I think being able to, you give up a leadoff double to Ohtani, and you got to deal with the rest of that order. That's a dangerous order for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You get out of there unscathed. I mean, I think the bullpen. I say what you want about last night in the air, and the ball that Estrada gave up, right? The bullpen has been pretty good at working their way out of some trouble in these last two games. I mean, they did it multiple times on Monday night.
Yeah, they did it. I think in the 8th and 9th inning on Monday night.
They might have done it in the 6th too. They were getting their way out of. Oh well, not the 6th because King went 7 innings.
Yeah,
but King got it.
Yeah,
King got himself
had an issue. Yeah,
King got himself out of issues too. I mean, the Padres pitching this series, they have gotten themselves out of trouble, and it's great to kind of learn that right now in the regular season because you're going to need that in the postseason. I mean, teams are going to threaten in the postseason. They're going to threaten you. They're going to put guys on base. They're going to get leadoff guys on. They're going to capitalize on walks. And right now you're learning how to deal with that over the course of 162. And I think the Padres bullpen's been great.
No, it has. It has been absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, we're highlighting a chat right now. Captain DJ, because of Braden and Frank, my wife loves baseball. She loves the stats talk. We are now listening together as we eat lunch outside. Go Padres.
Shout out to Captain DJ 9790 and his wife.
That's what this is all about right here.
Hopefully you guys are having some good lunch.
Yes.
What's for lunch, Captain DJ? Are you hanging out with Rod and the boys over in Spiros? Hanging out with Chris Ello at Spiros and Coronado? Huh? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr. continue to search. When we come back, we'll talk about those three. Some improvements for some of them, what they still have to work on, and what Manny thought after the game. We'll get to it all when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And then there were four. The NBA Conference Finals are set for 2026. In the East, it's the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. New York comes in rested after a sweep led by Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Cleveland just survived 2 Game 7 wars, riding Donovan Mitchell and a physical front court into the conference final hunt. In the West, it's the Thunder versus the Spurs, a showdown between the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder and a young San Antonio team led by Victor Wembanyama. OKC swept both the Suns and the Lakers, but the Spurs actually won the season series against Oklahoma City 4-1. This is a star power versus depth series. Rest versus fatigue, and experience versus rising dominance. At this point, it's simple. 4 teams left, and every possession could decide who gets to go to the NBA Finals. The 2026 NBA playoffs have reached the conference finals, and what we're left with are 2 heavyweight matchups that feel like they could go all the way to Game 7 of the finals themselves. In the East, the New York Knicks take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 preseason co-favorites who have lived up to expectations and now meet with a finals berth on the line. In the West, it's the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder against the breakout San Antonio Spurs, a matchup between the defending champions and a team that looks years ahead of schedule. This is where playoff margins disappear. No more series to grow into. It's win now or go home. Previewing the Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Knicks arrive well-rested after sweeping the Philadelphia 76ers and finishing their second-round series early. The Cavaliers, on the other hand, just survived a grueling Game 7 road win against the Detroit Pistons. That rest versus rust dynamic could matter immediately in Game 1 at Madison Square Garden. New York's formula is simple but lethal. Elite offensive rhythm from Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, paired with a defense that has consistently shut down opposing scoring cores. They've looked very, very comfortable in every series so far. But Cleveland brings a different challenge, more physicality, more interior pressure, and more late-game experience after surviving 2 7-game battles already this postseason. Donovan Mitchell remains the engine, but the real swing factors are Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. If those two can control the paint against Towns, this series gets a lot more complicated. The big question out east is, can Cleveland's fatigue catch up with them, or does their battle-tested identity give them an advantage, especially early in this series? Out west, the Spurs versus the Thunder, the future versus now. If the East is a star battle, the West might be a preview of the NBA's upcoming era. Oklahoma City enters undefeated in the playoffs so far, having swept both the Suns and the Lakers. They've done it with defense, depth, and MVP level play from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But San Antonio is not intimidated. The Spurs went 4-1 against Oklahoma City in the regular season and have already proven that they can win head-to-head. Victor Wembanyama is the ultimate equalizer, a player who changes both ends of the floor and forces Oklahoma City to adjust to everything that they do. The key matchup isn't just stars, though. It's role players. OKC's perimeter defense, like Luguentz Dort, Carson Wallace, and Alex Caruso will be tested heavily, as San Antonio has already shown its willingness to hunt mismatches and live with jump shots from those players. If Oklahoma City's supporting cast hits shots, they're nearly unbeatable. If they don't, the Spurs suddenly have a real path, and this series feels like it could swing on every single possession. So right now, across both series, a few major themes stand out. First, fatigue versus rest. The Knicks are fresh and prepared, while the Cavaliers are coming off a 2 physically exhausting 7-game series. Second, matchup in the paint. Towns versus Cleveland's two twin bigs, and Wembanyama versus Oklahoma City's entire defensive structure may decide both series. Third, supporting cast pressure. These are not just star series anymore. Bench scoring, shooting, consistency, and defensive rotations will matter every single night. At this point in the playoffs, there are no surprises left, only execution. The Knicks want their first finals trip in decades. The Cavs want to validate a season built on resilience. The Thunder are chasing a repeat, and the Spurs are trying to jump the entire rebuild timeline in one postseason. 4 teams, 2 series, 1 trophy in sight. And now there's no more rest days. There's no more play for tomorrow. It is real basketball, starting with these conference final tournaments.
$11:18 on a Wednesday. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Talked a lot about the 9th inning yesterday. I do want to. Do you have that sound still from Mason Miller on his outing?
Yeah, I can.
I'll let you
I got it.
get a hold of that. We talked about the pickoff play in the open. We talked about whether or not Song should have cut off the baseball on the throw from Fernando. We both agree that that was probably the good move, because if he did not cut the ball off from Fernando in the 9th inning, it was probably going way up the third baseline. Go back, watch the replays, watch that ball start to cut on Sungmoon Song. I think that was a good play. Obviously, I think the biggest talking points from last night were most of them in the 9th inning. The pickoff play that went awry for the Padres, and whether or not Song should have cut that ball off to try to get Alex Call at the plate. I think, Jeremiah Estrada coming in, tough giving up the lead right there against a team that has done very well against him. I thought Griffin Canning pitched very well. I thought Adrian Morejon pitched really well yesterday. And we're going to talk about the stars and Manny and Jackson and Fernando and how they have done offensively last night and the last couple of days. We'll get to that in just a second. But we didn't hear from Mason Miller. Here's what Mason Miller said post-game yesterday, courtesy of Marty Caswell.
Yeah, just let it speed up on me a little bit and yanked it. Probably threw it a little harder than I should have too. Yeah, obviously won it back, but it's what it is. And good plate appearance from Baez too. Good long at bat, and just barely got it done. So unfortunate for sure.
It's the first area of your career. Is there, I don't know if comfort's the right word, is there anything in that that you just haven't, that's very unlike you?
I mean, not a feeling that I'm used to having, I guess. But it's pretty cut and dry, bad throw, and you see the consequences of that.
Yeah. Obviously, he didn't feel that great after the game, considering the circumstances. I don't necessarily know, Frank, he could have done much more. I think it's easier for us to sit there and be like, oh, he shouldn't have thrown it as hard. But if you go watch his pickoff move, he's not stepping off. It's like quick move to first base. He's not going to be able to do the quick move and then, take a little bit off of it. At that point, he's just doing his regular pickoff move, probably a little bit sped up because of the situation at hand. Might have pulled it, might have thrown it just a little bit too hard, yanked it too much to the left-hand side. That happens, and that happens in situations like that. It's unfortunate, but I don't know how much more you could say about Mason Miller, or I don't think there was that much more that he could have done differently on that particular play.
Watching it, I don't think it was a normal pickoff move for him. I think someone screamed runner, 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 and he was caught out like, oh, wait a minute, what? And then just turned and yanked it. So I don't think that he was, I think he was here. I think he heard someone call a runner and was just still trying to comprehend what was happening when he threw it. And I saw a lot of people last night blaming that on Ty France.
Yeah.
Ty France is not expecting a ball to get yanked that far up the line on something like that. And he's also trying to get himself into position to be able to make the relay throw to get caught up in a pickle. So he's not I'm sorry, that's a Mason Miller issue. That was a bad throw from Mason Miller. I can't put fault on Ty France for that. And of course, he's going to say after the game, he's like, yeah, I should have made that play. That's what you would expect any player to say in that spot. I mean, if a ball goes a mile over his head, he's going to say, yeah, I probably should have had that, because he's not going to try to throw his teammate under the bus. But that was just a bad throw for Mason Miller there. Expecting Ty to step off the bag towards the runner. I don't think that, again, for me, it looked like it caught Mason a little off guard when he heard runner, 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 and just threw it back. Because at that point, he's got three options: throw to first, throw to second, or run right at him. He went with the natural option, which was throw to first. So I don't think that, I honestly, the more I look at it, the more Alex Call didn't take off running. He took a secondary on the first move. So I don't think anybody yelled step off, because usually in those situations, you don't yell runner, you yell step off. And then it's casual. Oh, let me step off and see what's going on and make a play. I just think he was going to pick over there. And I think he caught Call sleeping, because Call looked like he was going first move, and Mason does the quick move to first, and Call actually takes a secondary. It's not like he takes off running. He takes a secondary on top of his big lead and then goes, oh no, that's not great. And at that point, Mason's already throwing, and you get sped up sometimes in those situations. Yeah. You're like, and he probably turned and got excited because nobody's there. He's nowhere to be found, and he probably pulled it a little bit. It was probably shocking that for him, when you just quick look, be like, where is he? That the ball gets away. Yeah, and you saw his reaction too when they did the wide pan shot. He immediately crouches down and head in his hands before he goes back to cover behind third base the way he should have. But that was just one of those fluky plays. Captain DJ asking question: does he have to throw the ball once he steps off, or can you just run towards the base runner?
If he stepped off, he could do whatever he wants.
Which he didn't do. He did not step off.
That was the quick move to first. Righties can still make that quick move to first. It's different than lefties that step forward towards the base and have to go that way, right? For righties, you can step off and you can do whatever you want. It's not a balk. But if you do and you go watch him, he just jumps, snaps, and throws. He doesn't step off backwards. He goes to the right of the mound, which means he has to throw the ball. And if he stops and he hesitates, it will be called a balk, and they would have moved called to second, which, by the way, honestly,
would have turned out better.
It probably would have been better if he just boxed. The guy's on second. He's not on third base. And so the Pages play is not getting him to tag up.
Only gets him to
score.
third.
Only gets him to third base. So that is a little bit different there as well, in a sense that if he did balk, it probably would have been better for the Padres than, Mason Miller with the air that he had. And again, I think in that particular situation, with the game being tied, you need to put up a 0 in the ninth. So you're trying to win the game with a run in the bottom half of the ninth and have the confidence. I think you have to go to Miller there. I really do. I don't want to. I'm not blaming Craig Stammen on that one. I'm really not, because here's the question again: who do you go to in the ninth inning, in the top of the ninth inning, with the game on the line, even though it's a non-save situation? Who do you go with that's left after you used Estrada and you used Bradley Rodriguez and you used Morejon? Oh, you used Adam yesterday, right? I mean, who are you going to use?
Yeah, Miller is, like I said at the beginning of the show, Miller is always going to pitch in that spot because the top of the next inning isn't guaranteed. So if you're going to use your closer in a tie game, it has to be in the top of the ninth inning as the home team, because you're not going to get another chance. The away team has more flexibility with that.
Not even that, Frank. It's simpler than that. There will no longer, at that point in time, there will no longer be a save situation for the Padres, which means you're just deciding we're not going to use Mason Miller today at all because it's not a save situation.
And
why would you do that ever?
Yeah, and as Craig said post game, after that, already blown the lead. He's already thrown over 20 pitches. Forget about getting him out of the inning. Just get him out now.
Yeah, that also made sense.
Yeah, once you lose the lead, there's no sense in Mason Miller.
No, now you're just wasting bullets over the course of a 162. You don't, and again, with the conversations about the bullpen and the conversation about overworking the bullpen, the conversation about overworking Mason Miller, that is a situation that you don't want. That would be overworking him, right? Yeah. That would be negligence on the Padres if they didn't take out Mason Miller. But again, as soon as you got to the ninth inning, as soon as you did not score in the bottom of the eighth and the game was tied, you are not going to have a save situation the rest of the night because the game's going to end in a walk-off if you win. Which means, are you just not going to use your best pitcher because it's not a save situation? Absolutely not. And closers come in the top of the ninth inning
all the time. With
the game tied. That is you are saving the game right there to give your offense a chance. So I think that was the right move to use Miller there. We talked about it yesterday. When would you what type of situation would you use Miller? Any tie game, under 3 runs, maybe even 4 runs. We said that on the show yesterday. That's when you use Mason Miller. I think they used him properly. The only questionable decisions in terms of roster was bringing Estrada in, but in their defense, if you don't use Estrada, who are you using? Oh, and by the way, he's on the team. You can't not just use him, because then if you just decide you're never going to use him against the Dodgers, which I've said I don't like to see him pitch against the Dodgers, but if you're going to have that philosophy that I just said, then the counter to that is you're playing with one less arm than the other team is, who's already playing with one more arm anyway because they got Ohtani on the team. So I think you're splitting hairs in terms of the managerial decisions. I think last night was not a managerial problem. I think it's an easy blame for some people to just blame the manager. If you wanted to make an argument for a pinch hitter for Fermin late, sure. If you want to make an argument that maybe you shouldn't have used Laureano in that spot and used and just let Sheets hit, fine. But then Laureano stayed in the game to play left field as a defensive replacement anyway. I can't really find too much fault with Craig Stammen's decisions last night.
And also, I want to amend what I said before. I don't think Matsui would have pitched in that spot. He threw 33 pitches on Sunday.
So with only 1 day off in between after pitching 33 pitches, I don't think he's in.
Are you talking about in the 6th?
Yeah. Saturday
Saturday was the last time Wandy Peralta pitched.
I would have used Peralta.
And he only threw 10 pitches.
So for him to throw yesterday would have been a lot more plausible than Yuki would have. I didn't see the pitch count.
But even again, right? Like if Peralta comes in to pitch and he gives up a home run, people are going to be upset anyway. Estrada and Peralta, the only reason why I would say that would be, quote, a mistake, which I don't even think it's that big of a mistake, is the fact that Estrada hasn't done well against the Dodgers in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's just has not done well against them. And from a matchup perspective, I would rather have Peralta as a lefty taking on the core lefty group of that lineup in that spot over Estrada. But it's not like it's the correct answer.
And for Mason Miller, he has thrown
78 pitches now in the last 5 days. He threw 34 on Friday.
22 and 22.
22 and 22 the last 2 days. He has thrown a lot. I would not expect him to be available.
No, he's not going to be available tonight. And I don't think he's going to be available Friday either.
Yeah.
But I said it yesterday with Miller. If you're going to pick spots to use him a lot, I pick him against division opponents and National League opponents that you really need to beat. Right? I mean, any of the National League opponents for sure. I wouldn't do back-to-back against the A's. It's a waste of time. It doesn't do you any good.
He might want to because it's a former team, but
yeah, cool. He'll pitch Sunday.
Yeah,
sweet.
Rein him in on that.
But anyway, that was the big talking points with the ninth inning. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Manny homered yesterday. Padres are still winning games despite major underperformance from their key bats. Machado is 5 for 56 over his last 15 games. You know what average that is? Quick math.
5 for 56?
Yeah.
Was that like $120?
It doesn't even start with a 1. It's 089. Season batting average sits at 182. OPS sits at 615. Yet, he did home run Tuesday, continues producing emotionally important moments against the Dodgers. Interesting stat for Machado now, as laid out by Kevin Acey's daily newsletter. Machado now has 25 career homers against the Dodgers, more than against any other team in baseball. See, that's he gets up for the Dodgers. I think there's something to be said sometimes about the human element of Manny gets up to play LA, a team that he played for as a hired gun. Estrada, he just doesn't have the numbers against him. I know it's position player and pitcher and vice versa, but it's an interesting storyline. We're going to talk more about Manny and Jackson Merrill when we come back. We'll also hear from Manny when we come back. Jackson Merrill climbed his average up a little bit, still searching for consistency. We'll talk about Fernando too, talk about the guys on the offensive side that are the struggling stars, yet Padres still hanging with them. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I mean, hanging with other teams at this point. We'll continue that conversation when we come back. If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website, or you could get this, is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd at 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres theme patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogarts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font, if you will, or San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. Presented by Canals. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's The Poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging friar on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, it's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on Tuesday, September 8th against the Washington Nationals. Dressed in the Padres City Connect 2.0, the Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf channels Nando's flair at the plate, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. Dynamic details of this bobblehead will make it a centerpiece for your collectibles. Again, we don't know what the City Connect uniforms are yet, but that is what that will look like. 11:39 on the Braden Surprenant Show, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Spring football. Almost done with spring football this week. Puts a wrinkle in some of our plans that we
show
have. That's
plans,
why, you know what? That's why Frank stepped up this week and recorded some extra videos on his own. And he did a great job.
Thank you.
Juan Ruiz trying to throw me under the bus the other day. Foul on one. Come on, bro.
He draws the foul.
And by the way, foul on
Frank's a peacock, dude. You got to let him fly.
foul on you, by the way, for the whole stadium concessions deal. I didn't.
Well, I guess
officially
3 other people put in the YouTube chat saying they brought their little cup in there and it was fine. It wasn't a problem.
I didn't officially give you the foul. So there you go. There's the foul officially.
Yeah. We got Friday's a spring game. Today, here's the deal with today, okay? This is why this is significant. I am making the mistake of going to practice today. Why is it a mistake? Well, let me tell you, Frank. Thanks for asking. Here's why today is a mistake going to practice. Don's baseball is playing a playoff game at 4 o'clock. Why is this a mistake? Well, as is tradition for spring ball, we always like to go support our other teams during the playoffs, which, you know what, is great. It's admirable. It's awesome. It's cool to have the football team show up. You see how rowdy and obnoxious they are in our YouTube chat sometimes. Wouldn't that be great for them to be cheering you on, right? Hello? Yeah, cool, great. The downside of that is I drive over there and I'm not really coaching. I'm just kind of babysitting, and it's just like, do I need to be here for this? That will happen eventually. Game's at 4. I'm sure at some point in time we'll be making the trip down to the baseball field and watching the Dons play Southwest El Centro. That game is significant today at 4 o'clock.
I think
little house divided, the Padres clubhouse, huh?
I went to, for my freshman year of high school, I went to San Ysidro, and my baseball coach, I'm pretty sure I said this a couple weeks ago, was in the chat. They just lost to St. Augustine, sorry, yesterday, I believe. So that's yeah. Sorry about that.
Unfortunately,
for the Cougars.
St. Augustine, just like Oregon, 0 CIF championships in baseball. It's so surprising to me with the talent that they have rolled out of there, that they have never won a CIF championship in baseball. It's really surprising to me. Significance of today's Cathedral Catholic Southwest El Centro game. It's an open division playoff game, first of all. I don't know who the starting pitching matchup is, but Southwest El Centro has a senior pitcher. A right-hander, stands at 5'8", 160 pounds, is committed to Point Loma Nazarene by the name of Jordan Niebla. That would be Ruben's son. I don't know if he's pitching today or not. On the other side, there is a senior right-hander who's going to UCSD by the name of Shohei Darvish. They could theoretically be both pitching today. I don't know. I was trying to get the scouting report. This is not like I have a scoreboard on Max Preps that has probable pitchers. But there could be a situation where you have Jordan Niebla going against Shohei Darvish in a open division playoff game today at 4 o'clock at Cathedral Catholic High School. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. And you know what? I might get to when I get to practice today.
I'd love to see the clubhouse, the Padre clubhouse, during that game.
Right. Obviously, with Darvish on the restricted list, he's not going to be in the clubhouse, but yeah, maybe they'll both be there. I doubt it because we have an earlier game today. It's a 5:40 game tonight, so I don't think Ruben's going to be there. Maybe he'll be there for a little bit and then cruise out. But Jordan Niebla, senior, shout out to Southwest El Centro, probably making their way out here already to play the play. It's great for them to make the open, too. I mean, you don't get a lot of the Imperial County teams that make the open division in the San Diego section. They had a great year. Southwest El Centro varsity baseball this year, 23-5, with 12-0, perfect in league. And before anybody starts talking about how they have knocked off like all the teams in the desert and Yuma, they came out here and played some pretty tough teams. They beat Del Norte this year. They beat La Costa Canyon. Rancho Bernardo is usually a good program that has produced a lot of great players. They lost to RB 3-0, and I talked to one of the RB coaches, our guy Cap up there, Hagler, Mr. Coach Hagler. He said that Southwest El Centro team scrappy. They know how to play ball. They play good fundamental baseball. So with all of the pro athlete sons on the Dons, Mark Kotze's kid, Xavier Nady's kid, Yu Darvish's kid with all of that and 10 D1 players, they might be able to keep that game close. That's a fun matchup in CIF Open Division playoffs. Something to look for. We'll see what the score is today. I will text you updates if I get sent down to the baseball stadium,
yes.
To see what's going on there. I'll let you know if Jordan Niebla pitches or not. But that would be cool. Jordan Niebla versus Shohei Darvish.
That would be incredible. Yes,
I'll be down for that. Shohei's done a good job this year. I watched him a couple of times. He's got the velo up. His breaking stuff is disgusting. Sometimes
this is where if I'm a teammate, I go, listen, I know if I'm Darvish's teammate, I'm like, hey, listen, I know his dad coaches your dad, but you might want to show him that your dad knows a little bit more and has taught you a little bit more, I would be prodding. I'd be like nipping and prodding a little bit at that dynamic.
That's somebody talking smack in the chat. I don't really care, but I'm not as involved with the other sports at Cathedral as I am with football. You got Bill Dorsett in the YouTube chat. Cathedral will get beat by San Marcos if both teams advance. Hey, maybe. Dons are 2-0 against San Marcos this year. They won 6-2 and 4-3.
Yes, one. Shohei Darvish is going to be at UC.
He's going to be a Triton. Yeah, he talked about he liked staying home, and he's doing it for his education. And the funniest thing is I was talking to John Maffey, who is a scorekeeper for Major League Baseball, but he also writes for the Union Tribune. And he was interviewing Shohei Darvish about going to UCSD. And he's like, well, I like to stay home. But, my dad travels a lot for work. So it's kind of nice to stay home and stuff like that. And John was like, you don't say.
My dad travels
a lot for work.
It's like he's some sort of accountant.
Bless his heart.
Like, yeah, kid, I know.
John was like, I know who your dad is.
Yeah, believe it or not, dude, I know who your dad is.
I know he's not going to finance conventions. Okay. I know he's not staying at a Holiday Inn Express. Yeah.
He's not a presenter on Antiques Roadshow. I know that for sure.
He goes to Denver and Arizona and San Francisco and LA a lot, right? Where they do their little conventions and stuff. We got to get to today's sports thread.
The pure at heart. That's what we're laughing
at. He travels a lot for work. You don't say.
The pureness at heart is what we're laughing at.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on in the world of sports today? That's not Padres Dodgers.
By the way, really quick, if you're a newspaper columnist and you're talking to a kid and he says, "Oh yeah, my dad travels a lot for work," what did he think the natural follow-up question would be?
Like, what does he do for work?
Yeah, exactly. What does he do? It wouldn't be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Anyway, moving on.
Number 1.
You're really getting a kick out of that, aren't you?
It's so adorable. It really is. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti drew a hard line this week, making it clear the conference has absolutely no interest in a 16-team college football playoff and insists that he wants to jump straight to 24 teams beginning next year.
I wonder why.
Petitti argued that expanding the field keeps more programs relevant deeper into the season, increasing fan interest, protects conference championship game revenue, and creates more meaningful late-season games. The biggest hurdle remains the SEC and Commissioner Greg Sankey, who still favor a 16-team format, setting up a major power struggle between college football's 2 richest conferences over the future of the sport. Does it hurt the college football expansion argument to be bickering this much while the NCAA tournament expanded without issue?
I'm usually not on either of these sides, but I'm on the Big Ten side on this, on the situation. I mean,
welcome to the dark side.
I just, speaking of, I I look at this and I go, why are they both so hard set on their own details of we have to have 24 and we have to have 16? And by the way, I just like how everyone's argument turns into, if I don't get my way, it's the worst thing that's ever happened in college football. Like, everybody is in the interest of like the general college football. Like, oh yes, us at the Big Ten who just took Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA from the Pac-12. This is great for like, we care about the overall lifeblood of college football and college athletics. Oh, the SEC, who took Texas and Oklahoma to better themselves, now all of a sudden they care about the total lifeblood and what it matters to college football. No, neither conference or their schools give a bleep about the overall health of college football. None of the media outlets give a bleep about the overall lifeblood and health of college football. They care about their version of college football. The Big Ten cares about their version of college football. The SEC cares about their version of college football. ESPN, they care about their version, and the Fox entities care about theirs. And guess what? Fox is in bed with the Big Ten. ESPN's in bed with the SEC. If the contract opens up more than 16 teams, you have to renegotiate the playoffs. I mean, ESPN and Fox are puppeteering these conferences against each other. And the argument that they all make is, if we don't get our way, this is terrible for college football. All the decisions that you guys, and I mean you guys that make these decisions, have made for college football has made things worse for college football. So save it on the whole, if I don't get my way, it's the worst thing that ever happened to college football. Enough with the propaganda, enough with the BS. Make it a 24-team playoff, make it automatic qualifiers, get the guys in the suits out at determining who makes the playoff. Make it simple. Win your conference, you're in. It can't be more simpler than that. And I don't want to hear anybody's BS argument against it. That is from a neutral perspective. Everybody that is against the 2014 playoff is thinking about their own school and how this makes us actually have to try to win games. Enough.
And again, the college basketball tournament just, we'll advance it.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Number 2.
Yeah, whatever.
The New York Knicks pulled off the biggest comeback in franchise history last night, rallying from 22 points down with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter to stun the Cleveland Cavaliers in overtime and steal Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. According to ESPN Analytics, New York had just a 0.1% chance to win with under 8 minutes to go before Jalen Brunson completely took over, scoring 17 of his 38 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. Meanwhile, Cleveland collapsed late as Donovan Mitchell disappeared in overtime and James Harden struggled with turnovers and defense, turning what looked like a sure Cavs win into a devastating loss. Is this kind of loss too mentally crushing to come back from, or does Cleveland still have a chance?
Those are one of those losses that are hard to come back from. I mean, that's a loss that like cripples you for the rest of the series. So I think it's going to be tough for the Cavs, but you know what? It's the Knicks. It's just like the Mets and the Jets and every other New York team that's not the Yankees.
Danhausen put a curse on the Cavs. That's all that matters.
Number 3.
What was the man on the street stuff like for the Knicks after that?
Oh, it was.
I love those videos. They're the funniest ever.
It was crazy. The NFL continues aggressively expanding its global footprint, approving the possibility for up to 10 international games starting next year, with games already scheduled in cities like London, Madrid, Paris, Melbourne, and Rio. The league is clearly pushing towards becoming a worldwide sport, and Commissioner Roger Goodell has already hinted at a long-term goal that could eventually reach 16 international games. While fans overseas are embracing the growth, some players and fans still question the travel demands and loss of home games. Is the NFL's international expansion great for growing the game, or is the league risking too much by taking more games away from local fan bases?
I think they're doing the long play here. I mean, I don't like the international games, but if they can eventually start creating football players in these other countries, and making the playing pool bigger so you can expand eventually,
More
it
so
makes
than just
sense.
kickers.
Yeah, but I mean, if they can make more players out of this, then it makes sense. If they don't, then you're just wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
Noon lunchtime hour when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Someone Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Noon lunchtime hour on the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Frank.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Always love tacos. It's a Wednesday, though. Tomorrow,
Been missing it.
we got the wings.
Yeah,
We got the epic Padres roundtable presented by Epic Wings off last week.
wingy.
Back this week. Anybody mind if Rod has a day out in Coronado? Our great listener, Rod, always in the YouTube chat. He sent me a picture of him at Spiro's in Coronado. What a great setup. Rod, have a day. What beautiful weather to have a great day. He's got his kebabs, got a little rice, a little salad, a little tzatziki sauce on the side, some pita bread on a plate. He's got his soda right there. He's got the phone propped up with our show on it. He's got a beautiful sight of downtown San Diego from the location of Spiro's in Coronado. Tell him Chris Ellis sent you. You're welcome, Chris. Have a day. Have a day. It's a great day to have a day. It's beautiful outside. The weather we've gotten the last couple of days has been awesome. Awesome. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. All right, let's talk about the offense for the Padres again. I know this is a recurring topic until something magically happens with the top three. We're going to talk about Machado. We're going to talk about Jackson Merrill, and we're going to talk about Fernando. Let's start with Machado because he did the best yesterday out of the group. We mentioned before, he's 5 for 56 over his last 15 games. Season batting average sits at 182. OPS sits at 615. Yet he did homer on Tuesday, and he continues to produce against the Dodgers. He now has 25 homers against LA, more than against any other team in his career. But he's still not hitting to the level that you would like him to hit at. And they kind of asked him about it yesterday in the post game about where he is at. Obviously, coming off a loss, he's going to be a little frustrated. But here's Manny post game yesterday talking about his at bats.
What do you have to say? Your analysis of your own offensive struggles so far?
Of my offensive struggles?
Struggles, yeah.
My struggles?
Yeah.
Yeah, struggles, man. It's been tough.
Yeah. Do you have any? I mean, I'm sure you're working through it. But
Yeah,
do you have any?
for sure.
Have any theory
Absolutely.
of what's going on? I mean, usually
I'm a
don't
baseball player. I'm not a theorist. So, can you got something for me? I mean,
do your
I'll help it.
I mean, your coaches have something for you?
We've been working.
Yeah.
We've been working. We've been working on some stuff.
So that's what I'm asking. What are you specifically working on?
I'm not gonna tell you that. That's for me to work on and for me to continue to work on. You just.
I try not to chuckle every single time. What are you working on? He's got to tell you that.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Could you imagine if Manny dropped that? Could you imagine? Play that again.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Dude, everybody's here. They can hear you. One more time.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Corporate wants you to determine what the differences are between the two clips.
It's the same video.
It's the same audio. It's the same interview. Are you raising your voice at me? Oh man. You know what? I think Manny Machado has matured a lot over his baseball career, because I think Baltimore Orioles Manny Machado would have snapped him off. And you know what? I honestly think he would have a little justification for it. He knows he's struggling. I think the better approach would have been like, hey, does it feel like how did it feel? Like how good does it feel that you were able to hit a home run? Right. I know the team still lost, but like, do you think that's something that could keep you going in the right direction? How tough is it to try to stick with what, your approach is at the plate as you're trying to battle through this? Like, there's ways to do it where he could like talk about like where you're not like, why do you suck, dude? Like, it's basically the tone of the voice of those questions. Let me tell you what I'm working on, so the other team knows exactly what I'm working on, and then they can attack me in that different way. Like, really, dude? Come on, man.
You couldn't ask. You couldn't just say, home run first inning today. How does it feel to hit that home run in the midst of your struggles, and also for it to be an immediate response after the Dodgers get up 2 in the top of the first?
Yeah, do you get some solace out of that? Do you get any solace out of that? The fact that you hit it over the fence? I mean,
well, no, solace is in San Antonio.
Ethan Solace. Foul on you.
He draws the foul.
I just had to play that clip because I chuckled when I watched it 10 times. Clown question, bro. The one with Stammen was funny too.
Yeah.
The one with Stammen was really funny. Did you? I don't know. You'd have to go back in the post game.
I can. Give me a minute.
Because I saw that live and I'm like, no way, no way.
We're 2 for 2, baby.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, man. No way.
Oh, yeah. I'll find the exchange here.
While he's working on that, let's talk about Jackson Merrill. Batting average has climbed to 205. Still searching for consistency. I know the scary part is, like, for the rest of the league, if Machado and Merrill eventually normalize offensively, the Padres lineup ceiling rises significantly. I'm kind of tired of talking about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I can only keep preaching it for so long.
All right, I got it.
Fernando, on the other hand, he did get a couple of hits yesterday. Move around the diamond continues to be one of the Padres' more fascinating long-term experiments. He's hitting a lot better when he plays second base. Defensive roles, showing off his athleticism as well. He's starting to play a little bit better. He's close, and there's been a couple articles about like, hey, he's about to turn around. Everything's working out. But again, like, until he starts producing results, it's going to be hard to sell to a lot of fans. It's going to be hard to sell to the media. Yeah, the media asked Craig Stammen about it yesterday.
Should your second baseman have cut off Tatis's throw or just let it go through?
I'll have to watch a replay on it, but it looked like that was the quickest way the ball was going to get home.
And then about Manny coming out of it and hitting that first inning home run?
Yeah, that was great. Good swing from Manny. What we've been kind of waiting on a little bit, and he finally tagged one. He's been coming up with big hits. Hasn't gotten a ton of hits. More, he wishes he would have more, but he's had some big ones when he's got them.
You think what do you think is going on with him that it's taking so long for him to click in?
Yeah, I don't know if I can put my finger on one thing. I think he's working through things during the season. He's working in the cage. He's one of our hardest workers, and eventually I know that Manny Machado is going to be one of our best hitters on our team.
Tatis is still struggling.
Yeah, he had 2 hits tonight, so less of a struggle than what you think. They all count. No pictures on the back of the baseball card.
Oh no, it's like hold on, wait for the
rewind it.
Wait for the actually though.
Oh my god, that was before you play it. Stammen's like, I'm done answering these questions. By the way, they're not even questions.
No,
they're just like random comments. They're these are Fernando's struggling. Craig's like, okay, what is that?
Yeah, these are please monologue on the topic that I provide for you.
That's not
here.
a question, dude. Like, you got to ask questions. All right, play it back because I'm going to laugh my ass off again.
Tatis is still struggling.
Yeah, he had 2 hits tonight, so less of a struggle than what you think.
Infield.
So they all count.
Well, until the
no pictures on the back of the baseball card.
Do it again, one more time.
Tatis is still struggling.
Yeah, he had 2 hits tonight, so less of a struggle than what you think.
Infield, right?
They all count. No pictures on the back of the baseball card.
I give Craig Stammen so much credit for being patient with that entire diatribe. I really do. After a loss, there's a reason why there's a 24-hour rule. After a loss, and I have had some bad losses, like as a coach, if I got asked something like that, I wouldn't have kept my cool. I would have lost my mind. And after I would have to sit there and contemplate, like, well, I probably should be better than that. I probably shouldn't lose my mind on that. But in the moment, I would have been like, stop talking to me. Can you please shut up and stop talking to me? That's what I would have done. I applaud Craig Stammen and his patience, and I applaud I love the way he does these press conferences because he's not up there being smug. He's not combative. He's not argumentative. And maybe it will change in the season if things start getting worse because you're going to see everybody in their true colors. I like the fact that Craig Stammen's just straight up like, hey, a couple days ago, I had a hunch that this would happen. I had a hunch. It's not like dancing around like, and some of the condescending comments that we would get in the past from some of these guys and like the insecurities. Craig Stammen is who he is. I applaud his patience. I really do.
100%.
I mean, none of those were questions. And then it was like, he's still struggling. And Stammen's like, he got 2 hits tonight. And then it's like, well, actually, that one doesn't count because it was in the infield. I get where the reporter's coming from, too. It's like, he's not putting the ball over the fence. If you want something specific about Fernando not hitting his ball over the fence, I don't know, maybe ask about the home runs. Insane, dude. I did that in whole diatribe. I was laughing last night when I was listening to that, or I was watching it on television.
It's interesting, man. It really is. I don't know what to say about that. I really don't.
I applaud Manny, dude. I honestly, and I got on Manny last year when he was, I think, being a little bit too much to Jake from CBS. But this, I think Manny,
that was a little much.
I think Manny in this particular, but that was different. They lost the playoff game.
Yeah,
I understand the emotion. Their season's over.
Yeah, 100%.
But I thought Manny did a pretty good job of keeping it cool right there. As much as he was a little like, he has to give a jab or two on the whole.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, you got an answer for me? Like, what, he does that, but honestly, some of the stuff that was asked, it was like, all right. It's not even a question, dude.
I am all for players being sarcastic jerks to reporters that ask dumb questions. I am all for that.
I'm all for, I abide in the whole like you get what you pay for kind of attitude. I think it's the same thing as like with some of the questions. I don't ask a lot of questions when I go down there.
Neither
if I do, it's something that and it's something that I'm trying to ask something to actually understand the concept of why something happened. It's not a got you. And honestly, the first question he asked about, like, why did he cut the ball? I think that's fair. That's a fair question because there's a debate right now of whether or not Sung-Moon Song should have cut the baseball from Fernando from the outfield. We discussed it as probably the good decision. I think the answer from Craig Stammen was fair because he hadn't seen the replay yet. He has to. That is an analyst thing that you have to do post game. Later down the road, not like you're not going to be able to watch that in game. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to watch that and take a deeper look on whether or not it was a good idea in the time frame of slapping hands and going to the press conference. So I think both of those were fair. Where it started getting to a point of like, I want you to say this, and I'm going to keep poking you until you say that. That's the vibe I got out of some of these things. And I applaud Craig Stammen. I think he's handled the media super well. And I think he's honest. And he just tells it how it is. I think he's done a great job. 833-288-1973. 833-288-1973. Manny, why do you struggle? Why are you struggling? If he knew the answer, he would be fixing it.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Could you imagine? We got to get Mick Cronin. Somebody get Mick Cronin down here.
Mick, you want to manage a baseball team for a couple minutes?
You know what? Craig needs a break from the media. Mick, do you mind just being like his voice, like for the? That's like a Key and Peele skit. Let's just have Mick Cronin like speak for Craig Stammen for one game.
Yes,
be hilarious. Let's get out to Dexter in Spring Valley. Dexter, what's going on, man?
You know, you guys are hitting it on the. You guys are batting 1,000 right now because it's like what is this? You know, by their standards, Tony Gwynn is like a nobody. You know, a guy who doesn't hit home runs. I mean, come on. You know, like Stammen said, you know, hey, he had a couple of key hits today. You know, Fernando's, he's going to hit it eventually. You know, it's like, lighten up, right? You know, because, you know, it's going to happen. It just is. And insofar as what's going on with the Dodgers, you know, as long as we keep it tight, like you said, you know, we're still in pretty good shape to make the playoffs, hopefully. We don't have to win the division. When we beat them, you know, took them out of the playoffs, we were a wild card. So that's how I look at it. So thanks for keeping it real, boys, and go Padres.
We appreciate that, Dexter. Wow, no fouls out of Dexter last two or three times, man.
I'm saying I'm like itching over here over the foul button.
Come on, man. Guys, the Draymond Green of callers.
Well, Draymond Green did have a couple of games where he didn't get fouls.
Yeah, you know what? Dexter must have got too big of a fine from the league office. Let's change the approach on the fouls. Man, I can't be paying these fines all the time, man. Every time they do a dad joke, they get me with a fat. It's ridiculous, man. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's talk. When we come back, we'll talk. I mean, are you as tired of talking about this as I am with Fernando? I am. I mean, I'm tired of talking about it, and eventually things got to turn around, but
been done with it for a while, honestly. Like how many more different ways can we attack this?
The Fernando's power outage has become a big question hanging over the Padres.
I mean, even his ground out to end the game last night, he hit it 103. So it's not like he ain't hitting. He's hitting the ball hard.
I mean, he got an infield single on Monday where I thought he was going to like break Hurt's leg off with how hard he hit that ball. Over 100 miles an hour. Yeah, but it was an infield single, so remarkable. We'll talk more about Fernando when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Static Urban Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.
The NHL Conference Finals are nearly set, and we're getting a heavyweight showdown between the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. Nathan MacKinnon is dominating the playoffs again with 13 points, but Vegas counters with Mitch Marner, who already has 18 points so far this postseason and looks completely unstoppable right now. Colorado enters as the Stanley Cup favorite after winning the President's Trophy and averaging over 4 goals per game this postseason, but Vegas has become one of the NHL's ultimate playoff franchises, reaching the Final Four for the 5th time in just 10 seasons. Meanwhile, out east, it is pure chaos, with Buffalo and Montreal heading to a massive Game 7, while the Carolina Hurricanes continue steamrolling everybody behind the resurgence of Taylor Hall, who suddenly looks like an MVP again. The Stanley Cup playoffs have officially hit another level. The Stanley Cup playoffs are officially reaching another level as the Western Conference Finals are now set. It'll be the Colorado Avalanche versus the Vegas Golden Knights in a heavyweight showdown featuring 2 recent Stanley Cup champions and some of the biggest stars in the NHL. Meanwhile, out east, still pure chaos with Game 7 between the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens tonight, scheduled for tonight as we record this, while the Carolina Hurricanes continue looking like the most complete team in hockey behind the resurgence of Taylor Hall. We'll start off with the Western Conference Final, the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. This is the matchup that everybody wanted. Colorado versus Vegas. Star power everywhere. Speed, offense, playoff experience, elite coaching, elite goaltending. This series has absolutely everything. The Avalanche rolled through the first 2 rounds, beating the LA Kings in 4 and the Minnesota Wild in 5. Vegas survived a tougher 6-game series against the Utah Mammoth and then another tougher 6-game series against the Anaheim Ducks. And now we get the two teams that know exactly what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. The Avs won it in 2022, and the Vegas and the Golden Knights won it in 2023, the very next season. This series will be showcased with their two biggest stars, each team's biggest star, Nathan MacKinnon and Mitch Marner. The headline of this series is obviously going to be Nathan MacKinnon. He has 13 points already this postseason and continues to play at a historic playoff pace. Every shift feels dangerous. Every rush feels like a scoring chance. But Vegas counters with arguably the hottest playmaker in hockey right now, which is Mitch Marner. Marner has exploded for 18 points and looks like a completely different player than one critics questioned in Toronto just a few years ago. Honestly, this postseason feels like a revenge tour for Marner, and Vegas suddenly has multiple scoring threats rolling in at once, including Pavel Dorofeyev, who leads the playoffs with 9 goals. This series might come down to one simple question. Can Vegas survive Colorado's speed in transition? Because when the Avalanche are flying through the neutral zone and flying up and down the ice, they look almost impossible to defend. Now, that being said, Colorado does look like the favorite to win the Stanley Cup here still. They enter the series being the favorite not only to win the West, but to win the Cup entirely. And it makes sense. They won the President's Trophy with 121 points. They're scoring 4 goals per game in the playoffs, and that's a scary balance. 17 different players have scored already this postseason for the Avalanche. That's almost everyone on an NHL playoff roster. That means you cannot just focus on the stars like Nathan MacKinnon. You have to deal with the depth scoring as well, the blue line activation, and the goaltending from Scott Wedgwood, who's quietly putting together one of the best postseason runs among the remaining goaltenders. But Vegas has already proven that they can handle the pressure. This franchise has made the playoffs has made the Final Four, the Western Conference Final, in 5 of its first 10 seasons in existence, which is honestly ridiculous and just signals sustained winning. Meanwhile, over on the other side, the Buffalo Sabres are taking on the Montreal Canadiens in Game 7. This series has been absolutely insane. The road team keeps winning. Momentum is swinging every night. High-scoring chaos every single night. For Buffalo, it starts with their captain, Rasmus Dahlin, and sniper Tage Thompson. For Montreal, the pressure falls on Nick Suzuki to lead the Canadiens' offense in the biggest game of the season. But honestly, the X factor might be the play of Buffalo Sabres goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He has completely shut down Montreal in Game 6 and may have saved the Buffalo Sabres season. Whoever wins this game will have to face a very, very dangerous Carolina Hurricanes team in the Eastern Conference Final, because with the way Taylor Hall has come back and resurged and revitalized his career. He's a former MVP, he's completely reinvented himself. He's physical, he's scoring, he's creating chaos. And Carolina suddenly looks like the deepest, fastest, and most
12:23 on a Wednesday. Beautiful day in America's finest city. Final game of Padres and Dodgers coming up at 5:40. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. A lot of people talking about radio signal today. Yes, we are working on that. We have had some issues. Yeah, right?
No, that wasn't a radio signal issue. That was a stupid producer issue there.
We have been told we have some echo issues around San Diego. We are working on that, and hopefully we will let you know if there's any other updates to pass along on that. We'll talk about Fernando here in a second. A lot of playoff baseball today in CIF around San Diego. We talked about the Cathedral Southwest El Centro game. Jordan Niebla, a pitcher for Southwest El Centro, Shohei Darvish, a pitcher for Cathedral Catholic. Should be a fun game. I don't know if they're starting today. I don't know if they're even going to pitch today. But you know what? That'll be a fun one today at 4 o'clock. Other open division playoffs, Patrick Henry and RB at Rancho Bernardo. Eastlake and Point Loma at Eastlake. San Marcos and Granite at San Marcos for the open division. First round games after the play-in round have now started for the lower divisions. Division 1, you got Madison hosting La Jolla Country Day today. You got Del Norte hosting St. Augustine after they beat San Ysidro 5-2 on Tuesday. Actually, yesterday. Pitching will be in effect for all these games. Carlsbad LCC today. Torrey Pines Mount Carmel. And then in Division 2, because there's divisions all the way down to D5. You want the full info on that, it will be on the CIF website. But other games today, Christian hosts UC, Santa Fe Christian hosts Grossmont, Helix hosts Brawley, and Bonita Vista hosts Mission Hills in the Division 2 playoffs. And that's a look at the CIF baseball playoffs that we were talking about earlier today. All right, let's get to the conversation about Fernando. Okay. Power outage has become the biggest question hanging over the Padres. Fernando's power outage. I still think he's been hitting the ball incredibly hard. I still think he has been putting in the work. I think it's only a matter of time. So does everybody else in Major League Baseball. But I don't think anybody really wants to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear that anymore. I mean, I don't even want to hear myself say it anymore. I don't think, and we've talked about this a lot, I mean, the power problem for Fernando is more of a swing. Tuesday's pregame at Petco Park revealed an organization actively searching for answers. Tatis spent extensive early batting practice work with Steven Souza Jr. again, trying to rediscover the swing path, loft, pull side. The encouraging part is they're putting the work in. Confidence inside the organization remains strong. Teammates and coaches clearly believe the breakthrough is coming, but the drought is also impossible to ignore. Absolutely. It is impossible to ignore. But it's been like a month. More. I mean, today's May, whatever. I just, it gets to a point where people start to think like it's 2023, Frank, when everybody was saying like, oh, they're going to turn around as a team, they're going to turn around as a team, they're going to turn around as a team, and then it never happened. Mm-hmm. I think you get to a point now where that might be the case with Fernando. I still think it will happen. I think you're holding out hope that it'll happen. At least he's contributing in other ways, but I don't know. I can't imagine a season where Fernando hits no home runs.
No, I mean, there are people that aren't home run hitters that run into a fastball every now and again. Yeah, that run into a fastball every now and again and hit a home run by accident. So I can't. It does happen. It very rarely does happen where all of your best players have their career worst years all in the same year. It also rarely happens that they all have their best years in the same year. So it's right now, I wouldn't say it's early anymore. I would say it is genuinely a problem now. It's been genuinely a problem for a couple weeks now, but I wouldn't be sitting here if we're in July and he still hasn't hit a home run. Yeah, then there becomes a bigger issue.
I think so too, but at the same time, Frank, he hasn't hit a home run. Do you know the last time he hit a home run?
Probably the middle of last September.
September 27th. It's the last time he hit a home run.
It's the last day of the year, was it not? Is it that like September 27th? That feels like the last series of the season.
They usually play into like the last. I mean, they didn't have like the last 3 days of September off. Wake me up when September ends. It was probably the series before the last series or the last series. So that's a player with elite bat speed. That's a player with elite exit velocity. It's a player with athleticism and a career .513 slugging percentage. It's obviously very shocking. The numbers are startling. 172 at-bats, no home runs, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 273 slugging percentage. I mean, that is a disappearance of power production.
You said September 27th?
That's what it said in the article.
Yeah, that was the second to last game of the season last year.
Mm-hmm. So his power historically comes to left field. He hasn't been hitting the ball over there because he's not pulling the ball over there. And an important trend, Tatis is barely pulling the ball in the air anymore at all. Padres are trying to restore loft, timing, and pull side aggression. I know he hit a home run in the World Baseball Classic. Those don't count on these stat sheets before everybody wants to correct.
He hit 2.
Yeah, he did hit 2. It's not against Major League pitching. I mean, that's just like 2 home runs.
Yeah, he's
okay. Sorry to not specifically say in Major League Baseball games. We get it.
He hit 2 home runs against a guy who works at Tesco during the week.
Right. It's not the same. Okay. The organization still believes the talent is intact because the raw tools remain very obvious. Stammen emphasized that Tatis continues to work relentlessly. And I see it. We see the time and effort getting put in. Eventually, you got to need some type of production. I would imagine right now it's got to be more mental than anything else. I just because it's getting, he's got to be so frustrated. I mean, I don't know how much more you can say like he's working on it, and just be like, oh, he's working on it. I can't continue to say that on the radio. I can't. I can't continue to say he's hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour. I can't continue to say that all his metrics are good. I mean, eventually it's going to come through. But I literally feel like I'm talking about Xander Bogaerts from last year.
Yeah.
This is like the exact same conversation we had last year with Xander Bogaerts. How long did that last? That lasted a long time.
Mm-hmm. Whole first half, more or less.
I think the peak was when we were at the loft and we got that just crazy phone call. And Adam was working that day and he had to put the kibosh on it. Was that your first day at the loft?
It might have been. Yeah.
I mean, that was after I came back from vacation, correct?
I think so.
I think it was when that happened. So that was like, we haven't even gotten to that point yet. I mean, at that point, we still had people going like, you're saying this. It's hard for me to continue to, I don't want to say defend, but like try to paint a picture that everything's going to be fine when it's been like weeks since we started talking about the fact that his metrics are good and he's swinging the ball, he's swinging the bat well, and like it's this and it's that and the other thing in terms of mechanics. I mean, I can only say that for so long before it starts falling on deaf ears.
Maybe he should hit the ball softer. I'm looking at his exit velos from yesterday.
When he got hits, they were very soft.
89 mile an hour single. A 77 mile an hour ground out, not great. A 75 mile an hour single and a 104 mile an hour ground out. Maybe you should try hitting the ball softer.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
Throw a pillow on the barrel. See if it's...
I find this interesting too. Tom Krasovic brought out an importance of a certain player being on this team that can help Fernando. I think it's interesting, and he goes in a deeper dive in that, as well as the park factors, which I know nobody wants to hear that, but we will talk about one player that could help Fernando when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Static Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the 4th consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you could buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearables, stylish hats, and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. and see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with the Cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have the night. I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it gets you. It's a bag that you can bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different. My sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums, but now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little. I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. That's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. I like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too, but the beanie. The one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller, Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform. They got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And 12:39 on a Wednesday. Getting ready for Padres and Dodgers, Game 3 of the 3-game set. Randy Vasquez toeing the rubber for the San Diego Padres with a 5-1 record and a 2.68 ERA. Going against Shohei Ohtani, 3-2 with a 0.82 ERA. We're getting ready for the Midday Sports Standoff here in just a little bit. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Later on, we still have tickets to give away.
Yes, we do.
Later on in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll be giving away tickets to Padres and Phillies at Petco Park on Memorial Day. Stay tuned to hear a trivia question. If you are the first one to call in and answer correctly, who will win tickets to that? That will be in the 1 o'clock hour. We did have in the YouTube chat, somebody ask about the Padres hitting coaches and why haven't they had Tatis go to a no stride? They'll work on his front leg kick, the mechanics. I will say this. Just in a sense of, I get to work with former Major League pitcher Mike Gosling at USD. We got to get Mike in studio and have him on the show to talk about some inner workings, and maybe we'll talk about to Scanlon about this tomorrow. What I asked Mike, off air about what he was doing, like when he was, and now Mike was a player he played for multiple organizations. He was never like the, focal point of a team, right, as a pitcher, but he worked with Tom House, like that was his pitching coach, and he would make all of those adjustments during the off season, and then he would make a couple of tweaks maybe in the regular season. But how it works for position coaches, how it works for hitting coaches and pitching coaches in Major League Baseball. These guys all have their own hitting coaches and pitching coaches. They got their own swing coaches. They got somebody that they trust, that they go to. And the hitting coach for your MLB team and your pitching coach for your MLB team, they kind of wait for you to ask them what they think. And they're usually there for game planning and some other things. Like obviously Ruben Niebla, I think, is probably more hands-on as a pitching coach than you would see in other organizations. And I think a lot of guys trust what he's got to say. And so he might be a little bit more hands-on, but until the player asks that particular coach, do you think I should tweak this with this part of my swing? Do you think I should tweak this? They're not going to say anything. And that's kind of the common thing in Major League Baseball. Everybody's got their own swing coaches and pitching coaches, and the ones that are on the MLB clubs, they're there for game planning and helping when you ask them. Which seems like it's kind of crazy for people, but that's how it is. I think it's that's how it was kind of the minor leagues a little bit too. But when you get to the big leagues, those position coaches, if you will, they're helping with like game planning to win games more so than little mechanics. So until he asks, they're probably not going to tweak it too much. Maybe he'll do it on his own. Maybe he'll ask his swing coach. Maybe he'll talk to his dad. I don't know. But the interesting thing from Tom Krasovic's article, and we're going to, there's some more to this that I want to talk about later on in the 1 o'clock hour, because we're going to get to the midday sports stand-up here in a second. Tom Krasovic lays out something that he noticed with Fernando and who's been showing up to his extensive and extra batting practice, and maybe kind of a more important to this team than people think is Nick Castellanos. I mean, he's quietly become part of Tatis' daily hitting environment. I mean, he shares similar physical traits to Fernando in terms of like what is, body size and everything like that. He has survived major league offensive adjustments for 14 seasons. And based on Tom Krasovic's reporting, it sounds like they've built some pretty strong chemistry together, which matters because slumps this deep, when you have stuff like this for this long and not being able to hit home runs and everything like that, these are the slumps that become more psychological just as much as mechanical. And this is where veteran hitters who have been there and done that before, who have been through this process before, who have gone through slumps like this before, this is where they often help. They help simplifying approaches. They help restore confidence. They help normalized struggles, which is good. I mean, Fernando, I still think is like maintained some of his looseness despite, a lot of the pressure, which is probably healthy for him. I still think he's contributing, but the fact that Nick Castellanos is getting involved, I think that's I think that shows you, Frank, just how tight of an org this is, how tight of a group this is. And when you bring in a veteran like that, he might not be helping you as much on the field as maybe you would like, but he's contributing in a lot of different ways. And right now, if he helps Fernando get to where he needs to be, that makes picking up Nick Castellanos even bigger of an asset than you already had.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best hitters, and again, we heard that from what article had that the other day where saying Fernando was not a good Fernando's dad said he wasn't a good hitter.
A buzzer only.
But yeah, we heard that from him. So it's always nice to get other people's opinions, and because sometimes you're so focused in on what you're doing that maybe someone else sees something that you were doing that you're not doing anymore that could be part of the cause. So it's always nice to have those extra eyes and ears around to be able to bounce ideas off of and possibly see something that you're not seeing or see something that your coach isn't even seeing.
Yeah, when you need help in life, I mean, you start asking everybody.
Yep.
When you're like really down and whatever it may be. And, not everybody's going to give you the best advice. They're going to give you some. I mean, some of them know the context better than others. But this is why last year when talking about this with Xander Bogaerts, I mean, like for him, he was told at a young age in the big leagues, pick one guy that you're going to trust, and he's going to be the guy that you're going to get your answers from. And that's the only person you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who that is for Fernando. I mean, he might know. For Xander, it was actually Victor Rodriguez at the time. So I don't know if that's still the case with him now coaching somewhere else, but it was for him when he was in Boston. But it's something that he's going to ask everybody for help. He probably is already doing it. He's got to find that one guy or that one girl, whoever it may be, that's going to, he's got to lock in on. We'll talk more about this in the 11 o'clock hour. There's another interesting conversation about...
In the what hour?
In the next hour. Sorry, in the 1 o'clock hour. There's another part to this article that I think is very important for the career development of Fernando and something that he's facing for the first time. We'll get to that in the 1 o'clock hour. But first, it's time to get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
That's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, what we got working today?
We have Robert in Vista today. Robert, how you doing today, bud?
Pretty good, guys. Thanks a lot. And every morning you guys are just what the doctor ordered, so thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate that. With the Dodgers in town, of course, it always brings up memories of 2022 and the series finale for the divisional series of 2022, the quote-unquote Dragon Slayer game, including the starting pitcher. What was the starting lineup for the Dragon Slayer game? Game 4 of the NLDS in 2022. Robert, you have the first guess.
Manny Machado.
Manny was your number 3 hitter.
Let's go with Juan Soto. He was in that game.
Soto was your number 2 hitter.
Jake Cronenworth.
He had the big hit.
Cronenworth was your number 5. Again, this is including the starting pitcher.
Starting pitcher was Joe Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove was the starting pitcher, yes. Robert.
Merrill.
Jackson Merrill was not there yet.
We're gonna go with Nola.
Austin Nola was your catcher, batting ninth. Robert?
Josh Hader.
Josh Hader did pitch in that game, but he was not in the starting lineup. Right?
How many we got left?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left.
Brandon Drury.
Brandon Drury was your number 4 hitter.
There's one.
Robert, you have 2 strikes on you.
Luis Ariz.
No, unfortunately not. Luis Ariz was not on the team. Braden, would you care to clear the rest of the board?
All right. Who have we said?
We have said Juan Soto, who was batting second. Manny Machado, who was batting third. Chris Drury was batting. Brandon Drury, sorry, batting fourth. Jake Cronenworth batting fifth. Batting ninth, Austin Nola. Pitching, Joe Musgrove.
All right. Ha-Seong Kim was a shortstop.
And leading off,
Will Myers played first base.
batting sixth.
Who else are we missing?
7 and 8.
Trent Grisham played center field.
Batting 8.
And we're missing the 7th hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like the diamond. So we have the first base. It's
an outfielder.
It's an outfielder. It'd be whoever played left. Right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was playing left that day, but he was your left fielder for the most part.
Oh. Because Drury played, he was the DH that day. Will Myers played first. Who played left field? Was he on the team before the deadline? Probably.
Yeah.
Oh. Jerkson. Profar played.
Yes. So your lineup for the Dragon Slayer game: Ha-Seong Kim, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Brandon Drury, Jake Cronenworth, Will Myers, Jerkson Profar, Trent Grisham, Austin Nola, with Joe Musgrove towing the rubber.
Wow. How about that? Try again next time, Robert.
Hung your head on the when you realized too. By the way, that's what that silence was. That was like a God, I can't believe I forgot
the Profar?
that. Yeah,
oh yeah. That was immediately like, you got to be kidding me,
idiot.
How did I get because Josh Bell was on there, and I'm like, I don't think he didn't start in all those games. Did hit a homer against the Mets though.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Had to get that in there.
Trent Grisham also hit a home run after hitting like 150 all season.
Trent Grisham was terrible that entire year until the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like...
And he hit everything.
Correct.
I was here for all 3 of those games and especially hated the third one. Because not only the Mets lose that game, I then had to sit through the entire Padres celebration when all I wanted to do was go home.
Oh, yeah.
And not only did I have to sit through the celebration in the postgame show, I had to cut the celebration for all of you guys to use. So I heard it 3, some cases 4 times that night.
Wow. I'll play world's smallest violin. I don't sympathize with you.
I know you don't.
No, not at all. Let's go Mets, right? Was that the last time the Mets were relevant? And
no. Just in the championship series a couple of years ago.
Not in the World Series. Neither were the Padres.
Yeah, whose fault is that?
The Mets.
Oh, it's the Dodgers' fault.
Always the Mets' fault. No, don't blame the Dodgers. Now you got to take responsibility for your own actions. How the Mets doing now? Turn things around? 4-game winning streak. They win last night?
No, they did not win last night. James Wood, by the way, Padre fans, you'll be happy to know that James Wood hit an inside the park grand slam last night.
Who was that against?
Who do you think it was against?
Was it against the Mets?
Yes.
Nice.
That's who they're playing.
I thought they were playing the Marlins. That's even worse. Hey, you know what? Mets only -10 on the run differential.
Yeah, that's also after putting up 10 runs in the 12th inning. First time a National League team did that since before women had the right to vote.
I agree with Nate Taylor. Haven't had a Mets crash out in a while. It might be coming soon.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods, and we're not just a radio show. We call our listeners Tier 1s, and we're a community of mostly like-minded San Diegans.
The welcome mat is out for everyone. Join us weekdays from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Are you considering GLP-1 injections for weight loss? Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medication long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots. And when the medication is stopped, weight regain is common. Here's something most people don't realize. A significant portion of the weight
1 o'clock on a Wednesday, broadcasting live from the Bill Allen Studios. We know how. I want to mention that all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are going to give away tickets to Padres and Phillies on Memorial Day, which is next Monday. Enjoy the 3-day weekend this weekend to everybody that has Monday off. Have a day on Monday. Have a day this weekend. Just have a day. Rod had a day today, did he not? You guys posted up. Went to Spiro's for lunch. A great time. Birthday weekend for James in Oceanside. Happy birthday. Have a birthday weekend, James. 833-288-973. 833-288-973. All right. Tom Krasovic talked about in his column that Fernando's going to be turning it around soon. Where have I heard that before? Well, us. I'm running out of pitches to sell you on, to be honest with you. I'm starting to not even believe what I'm trying to sell. And I honestly think that Fernando is going to turn it around. I don't think he's going to make it through the year without a home run. I really don't. But at the same time, we could say this as much as we want. He eventually has to do it. Tom Krasovic, in his column in the San Diego Tribune, talks about why he thinks he's going to come out of it. He also talks about some different layers to this story, more so than just he needs to hit the ball better. He needs to have a better swing path. He needs to have, X, Y, Z, talking about his metrics, everything like that. I mean, it could be the confidence level for Fernando. I think right now is a lot more psychological. I think it's a lot more pressing on Fernando's part than it is mechanical. I think it started off as mechanical and then eventually gets to, it's more of a mental side than anything else. And he lays out maybe Petco Park being a factor as well. He lists examples like Khalil Green he stopped taking on-field batting practice after frustration with deep power alleys. Ryan Ludwig admitted Petco got into his head mentally when he was here. Petco has historically punished right-handed power hitters, especially at night. Hitters begin altering their swings to try to get better numbers. They press for power, overthink mechanics, and subconsciously start compensating. The Padres clearly do not want any of that to happen to Fernando. And to be honest with you, Frank, I don't really think Fernando is being Petco parked at this time. I really don't.
If he was going to have a mental issue with Petco Park, that would have happened already.
He also would be hitting home runs elsewhere.
Yeah, he's been hitting at Petco Park for years. I don't see how now all of a sudden he's getting mentally psyched out by the ballpark he's played in for the last 5 years.
I don't think so either. I think it's something that you bring up a decent amount just because right-handed power hitters have never done well here in San Diego. But at the same time, he's put up numbers in this ballpark before. I don't think it's a new factor that he's worried about the park factors. But what Tom Krasovic also brings up, which I think is important for Fernando, is this may be the most important developmental stretch of Tatis's career. I think this is to pull a Dexter in Spring Valley, it's the final boss for Fernando. He's already battled injuries in his comeback. He's already done the changed positions. He served a PED suspension. He's already rebuilt public trust. He's returned to all-star form. He has accomplished all of those things. But this is a stretch, Frank, that tests him differently. This isn't about his health. This isn't about, not being potentially on PEDs. This isn't about public perception, right? This is about an adjustment. Can Fernando evolve as a hitter when elite athleticism alone isn't solving the problem? I think that's an interesting question. I think at this point, Fernando's the type of player where his athleticism is always taken over. And when you got raw talent like Fernando has, it will get you out of a problem. But this is something more than just athleticism can handle. This is like the mental approach. This is making counter adjustments to the league. This is refining his mechanics. This is surviving slumps without losing identity. And the Padres clearly believe that he will, but until the power returns, at least in the stats, the conversation grows louder every day. We continue to talk about it. I think this is the final thing that he needs to be able to make an adjustment on in Major League Baseball. This is the one that talent can't save him from. This is the mental side of things with playing baseball, playing in the high level, and I think a lot of it is the fastball in and the slider away. Everybody's throwing in on Fernando. It obviously bothered him last year. That is something he needs to overcome, and this is the process of the first sign, really the first sign of this mechanical adversity that he's had to deal with, and I think the last sign of can he overcome situations.
I think what his father said really bothered him, that he was not a good overall hitter.
I'm going to add to that before you finish. You know it bothered him because the context in which Buster Olney on Gwen and Chris said how he got that information. Do you remember?
No. Oh, he was saying like,
Fernando,
I'm a good hitter, right?
Fernando unsolicited just decided to tell Buster that.
Yeah.
Buster didn't ask him about it. He literally says, like, unsolicited, he just started talking to me about this situation with his dad. This is a national baseball writer. He's just like telling about his dad said he's not a great hitter. That tells you everything you need to know about what you brought up, Frank. How did Buster Olney get that information? Fernando just went out there and told him, you and I are in the clubhouse. Fernando telling anybody anything ever?
No. He felt comfortable and vulnerable with Buster in that moment and said it. And I think it really, really bothered him. And I think he took it as a serious challenge where he is focusing now more than ever on trying to become an all-around good hitter instead of being who he was. He's still hitting the ball incredibly hard, as we've said ad nauseum for the last month now. But he is trying to do things that he has never done before, or at least has never done naturally before. He's actively working on trying to spread the ball across all fields, not really worrying about power. He's changing his swing. His leg kick is gone. He is actively working on that challenge that his dad gave him. And it's really messed. You can see how much it messed with him and how much he took it as a challenge throughout this season.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for a fact if it's messed with him, but based on observations of the timing of the situation of going into the 2025 season, and that was the first sign of, seeing him play a little bit differently than he normally has.
Passed a lot of it off last year because of all of the off the field drama, the lawsuit and everything that was going on. We kind of swept it under the rug as, it's just a bad season. There's a lot of off field distractions. He's lost his smile, whatever. This year, he hasn't really had those. He hasn't really had many off field distractions the way he had last year. So it's got to be him working on something and working through something this year. He's just off to a bad start.
I also think that, and again, because Tom Krasovic lays it out, that it's mechanical. I think it started as mechanical, and now I think it's mental. I think it gets to a point where you start trying to do too much because you want the results to change immediately, and you get away from exactly what has made you the player that you are. And when you start to fine-tune things a lot, you don't play as well.
How many times
you notice that? I like to compare it to golf because it's easy for people to understand, and people have a hard time playing golf. And, if you compare it to softball, it's a little bit different. Obviously, people are like, oh, that's easy. But like anytime you're playing any type of sport that involves a swing and you start working on the swing too much and you start like nitpicking things, you don't have good results. I find myself doing that all the time when I try to nitpick my swing. Whether it be in softball, whether it be in golf, whether it be in anything else. And I'm not doing it at an elite level like Fernando is, right? So you start to press, you start to think about it more, you start to, you saw his reaction after he didn't get that ball over the fence against St. Louis a couple of weeks ago. You've seen him not really he just doesn't, you could tell it's bothering him, and he's working on it. And sometimes, we talked about this with Xander last year. Xander was adjusting mid at bat almost every single time.
And
was he ever good when he did that?
No. And like Trav just said, he needs to sit on his back foot more. How many times also, imagine being Fernando for just a second. How many more times do you need to hear unsolicited advice from dopes like me and you on what he needs to do? It's like, that's also going to be wearing on him as well. It's like, how many more times do I got to hear this? Can I hit the home run so you can shut up now? Like, just please, because every at bat, if I'm him and I keep hearing all this chirping from people on the radio, fans, whatever, the press, media, whatever, I'm sitting there going, every single at bat, I'm like, can I please just hit this home run so you all will shut up and get off my back, please? And it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's when you get the frustration and the disbelief that you saw after he just missed against St. Louis. That's all of it is weighing on him. He's working on it. He's going to figure it out. He is going to hit and home run this season. I promise you he will. It's frustrating him more than it's frustrating you. I promise you that.
Yeah. He's got to listen to the post-game press conference. He's struggling. Yep.
That's cool.
That's cool. He got 2 hits tonight. Infield hit. All right, dude. We're moving on from this. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. In the other direction, teams that have jumped out to great starts. There's a couple on here that we want to discuss in Major League Baseball as we kind of transition to the MLB frame of mind. Is it enough for these teams to make the playoffs? We'll answer that question when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
Denny Hamlin just reminded the NASCAR garage that experience still matters. Hamlin survived absolute chaos at Dover Motor Speedway to win the NASCAR All-Star race and collect the $1 million prize. Massive wrecks took out stars like Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott early, but Hamlin stayed patient and dominated the long runs when it mattered the most. But the biggest surprise might have even been 19-year-old Connor Zilisch finishing 5th after battling back from a pit road penalty. He finally looked comfortable racing in Cup Series and may be NASCAR's biggest superstar. Meanwhile, Corey Day grabbed another Xfinity Series win. Kyle Busch dominated the truck race again, and Alex Palou earned the pole for the Indianapolis 500 next weekend. So here's the question. Are young drivers taking over motorsports, or are veterans still the ones you trust most under pressure? Because this week gave us both. This week in motorsports, Dover Motor Speedway delivered chaos, redemption, veteran dominance, and a preview of what could be one of the biggest weekends of the year, with Charlotte and Indianapolis both coming up next week. From Denny Hamlin cashing in $1 million All-Star win, to young stars like Connor Zilisch and Corey Day breaking through, to Alex Palou earning the pole for the Indianapolis 500, there was no shortage of storylines across NASCAR and IndyCar over this past weekend. We'll start with the NASCAR Cup Series, as Denny Hamlin reminded everyone why he is still one of the smartest and toughest drivers in the NASCAR garage. Hamlin started from pole and survived one of the wildest all-star races in recent memory to take home the $1 million prize at Dover Motor Speedway. The race featured multiple crashes, tire strategy battles, and long green flag runs that completely changed the race throughout the afternoon. In the end, it turned into a Toyota showdown, with Hamlin holding off teammate Chase Briscoe over the final 29 laps. Hamlin said the long run speed and patience were the difference, and honestly, that veteran experience showed. While other contenders crashed out or faded, Hamlin stayed clean, managed his tires, and controlled the race late. One emotional moment after the race stood out too, as Hamlin said he'd probably give the $1 million prize to his mother after losing his father in a tragic house fire last December. To the young stars now, Connor Zilisch continuing to impress on the NASCAR circuit. One of the biggest surprises this weekend was 19-year-old Connor Zilisch finishing 5th in the All-Star race. Even after receiving a pit road penalty midway through the race, Zilisch charged back through the field and looked aggressive and confident on restarts against seasoned Cup veterans. For Trackhouse Racing, this was a major positive sign because Zilisch finally looked comfortable competing at the Cup level instead of just surviving. This may have been a breakout performance for one of NASCAR's future stars. Moving on to next week for NASCAR, Dover reminded everyone how brutal the Monster Mile can be. Huge wrecks early in the race collected major names like Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott. Now the focus shifts to Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Coca-Cola 600, one of NASCAR's crown jewel events and one of the most historic events in the history of NASCAR. The biggest question heading into Charlotte is whether Hamlin can carry this momentum into a points-paying race or if other teams learned enough through the All-Star weekend to be able to close the gap. In the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, it gave us another incredible race at the end and another breakout moment for a young star. 20-year-old Californian Corey Day picked up his second career win at Dover, chasing down championship leader Justin Allgaier late into the race. Unlike his Talladega win earlier this season, this one came from pure speed and tire management. Day made a fearless move on the outside through traffic late in the race to steal the victory, a move many veteran drivers wouldn't even attempt at a track like Dover. It is becoming clear that NASCAR's young talent pipeline is absolutely loaded right now. However, the veterans still do have a lot to say, as in the Craftsman Truck Series, Kyle Busch dominated the race at Dover on Friday, leading 147 laps and earning his record 5th Truck Series win at Dover. Meanwhile, whenever Busch races in the Truck Series, it feels inevitable at times. His experience with tire management and long run speed continues to separate him from the field. One of the biggest moments from this race for not just the Truck Series, but for NASCAR as a whole, was a historic moment as Dynasty.
All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it's better. We got a handful of guests tomorrow. That's what I was going with. We have a handful of guests tomorrow. We got CJ Dos Santos coming on from San Diego FC. We got Bob Scanlon joining us for our usual Thursday. We will be on a lot with the round table at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Should be a fun, jam-packed filled day of Padres baseball talk right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Hopefully, we're talking about a Padres series win over the Dodgers, and they're in first place.
It's going to be a guest-filled final hour, too. Dos Santos will be on at 1 tomorrow for San Diego FC. We'll be talking about the upcoming match against Vancouver. Also, his call-up to the World Cup team for, I believe it's Cape Verde, I believe. And then we'll have Scan on to close out the show.
Sounds like a good time. Looking forward to it. We want to take a look at Major League Baseball. There are some teams that are off to hot starts, but do we believe in their hot starts? It's time for buy or sell.
All
right, Frank.
Oh, you have it. Okay. Just trying to kill a little bit of time in dead air while I got the sheet up.
Come on, man.
All right. We've had a chaotic start to the season so far this year. Some of the teams are off to surprisingly hot starts. Today, we're going to do a buy or sell of how real these records are for 4 clubs making early noise. First off, we'll go with the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays currently sit at 30-15. I believe they might be 30-16. I think they lost just a couple minutes ago to the
Orioles. They're winning a ton of close games and sit with a strong plus 25 run differential. Preseason expectations were around 500-ish, but they're playing like a top team in the American League. Buy or sell the Rays' hot start?
I'm buying it. I think this is real. I mean, their rotation is elite. They're second in ERA with a 2.94 ERA, which is led by Rasmussen and McClanahan and Martinez, which sucks because I was hoping the Rays would suck so the Padres could trade for Nick Martinez, but that's neither here nor there. Their big three position players, Caminero, Aranda, and Diaz, are carrying a lot of weight for this team. You have a little bit of issues with the defense. I mean, it's dropped off 26th and outs above average. Bullpen is mediocre for the Rays. Offense is in the middle of the pack with very little power. Multiple regulars with 0 or 1 homer. They're 25th in home runs. Where have we heard that before? 9-1 in 1-run games. And their bullpen is just, again, isn't very good. I don't know how much they can hold up. But even if they play 500 the rest of the way, they're around 88 wins in a very weak American League, which is probably enough for the playoffs. I think they're true contenders more so than just riding a soft schedule and some smoke. So I think the Rays are for real.
What did you go over their starts this season? Oh no, they beat Baltimore today, 5-3. They scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Good for them. Their schedule so far this year started with St. Louis, Milwaukee, Minnesota, the Cubs, Yankees, White Sox, Pirates, Reds, Twins, Guardians, Giants, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Marlins, Orioles. They got the Yankees again and the Orioles in the middle of next week before they go to the Angels before they welcome in the Angels to round out the month. I keep saying it. The Rays don't always have good teams, but when they do, they are really good. So I believe the Rays on this hot start. If they weren't going to be around, they would not have started like this. I 100% believe it. Next up, St. Louis Cardinals. Sitting at 27-19 in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year after trading away Nolan Arenado, Sonny Gray, Brendan Donovan, William Contreras, and Ryan Helsley. Sorry. They're young, athletic, and led by breakout stars like Jordan Walker. Buy or sell the Cardinals' start to the season?
I think their start's a real start. I just think they're going to run out of gas in a very competitive National League in general. I think they're a year early, but I think they're going to be a problem to deal with. I don't think they have the full pitching staff to make it through, and we'll see what happens when all these young guys have to play all these games. And this happens all the time for a lot of young teams. But, they're extremely young, as we mentioned before. Jordan Walker looks like a legit MVP candidate. He's got to be able to put it all together in a full season, which they haven't seen yet. But right now, it looks like he's going to be able to do that. Their up-the-middle defense is great with Wynn and Weatherholt. Scott, it's very excellent. They're fun. They're athletic. And it's a fun rebuild story for the Cardinals. Now, the big red flags are they're dead last in pitcher strikeout rate, and historically, very few low strikeout teams make the playoffs. Only a handful in recent years, and usually with other huge advantages. 10-3 in 1-run games and 6-1 in extras is massively unsustainable for this team. They've beaten some good teams, but they haven't faced the Cubs yet in the National League Central, and the NL Central is stacked. So they're off to a really good start. I think their start is real. I don't think they finish, though. I think they're going to start coming back down to earth midway through the season.
You also have Dustin May leading your starting rotation. That's not a great sign.
Well, we got McGreevy. McGreevy's the real ace, right?
Yeah.
But is he going to make it through the entire year? Again, young arms, young players. I think they show that they're very talented and they're going to be really difficult to deal with. But not yet.
I think they just called up not all that long ago one of their top prospects, Tink Hence, who's supposed to be one of their big. Oh no, he's not up yet. He's on the 40. But he's going to be one of those guys when he eventually does get called up. Tink Hence is one of them. There was another big name in there that I've forgotten, but they have a couple of good young pitchers coming up. I don't see them right now as a legitimate threat, especially with how good that National League Central is. I don't see them. I see this as more fool's gold for the Pirates. It's a good sign for the future, but for this year, it's fool's gold for me. We're going to stay in the National League Central. We're going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are just over 500 with a nice plus 18 run differential. Their offense has taken a huge leap. They've got Paul Skeens. Buy or sell. Are the Pirates real playoff contenders right now?
I'm selling that. I don't think they're there yet. The Phillies just went in there and beat them up a little bit. They got the Cardinals right now. Obviously the offense is just really improved. Massive OPS jumps across the board. Cruz, Reynolds, new additions in Lau and O'Hearn, young Connor Griffin, all contributing. The gains look very believable and sustainable, but and with Paul Skeens at the top, I mean, he's a game changer. 6-2 with a 1.82 ERA post opening day. What happened opening day? Wow, seems like a long time ago.
I don't remember what happened on opening day for Paul Skeens.
They got a true ace. They got a team that's hitting the ball up better. They have a better rotation than the Cardinals do. And even if St. Louis has the better current record and defense, it doesn't really matter. I think Skeens is a difference maker, but they still have to fix their DH production. Their bullpen's not good. I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I think they're going to come back down to earth, just like the Cardinals are.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to finish in last place in that division. I don't see them as being legit playoff contenders.
Reds are struggling still. They're like just hanging around.
What's the Reds' record right now?
The Reds are 25 and 24. The Pirates are 24 and 24.
26 and 24. They beat the Phillies today, 9-3.
Oh, they just finished their game.
I think the Pirates are gonna be in last place. They're sitting 24 and 24 right now. Cardinals are still 9 games over 500. That is really big for them. We'll go to the south side of Chicago for the final one here. White Sox currently sitting at, where is their record? The White Sox are currently playing the Seattle Mariners right now. They're 25 and 23 as they play at the moment. After years of being a laughingstock, they suddenly look fun and competitive with big power from Munetaka Murakami and a breakout from Davis Martin. Buy or sell, this White Sox turnaround is legit.
I think the turnaround is legit. I don't think they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs, but they're trending in the right direction. And it wasn't going to be very difficult for them to do that because of how bad they were. I mean, historically bad. I mean, just being average bad would be a massive improvement for this team. But Murakami is mashing. He's got 17 homers already, insane hard hit rate. Vargas and Montgomery are providing power for that White Sox team. Antonacci and Mydroth adding speed on the base pass. Davis Martin has been Cy Young caliber early with a 6-1 record and a 1.61 ERA. Real strikeout rate improvement. They're still negative in the run differential. They have big holes in the bottom of the lineup. The rotation depth is not there, and the bullpen's not very good. Kyle Teal coming back helps the White Sox, but projections still see them near the bottom of the division. I still think they will be near the bottom of the division, but I think they're making the step in the right direction. I think they're kind of a feel-good surprise story of the year so far.
They certainly are, but they're living on power. We went over it yesterday. Murakami's got 17 home runs. Vargas has 14. Vargas has 11. And then the next person has 4. And none of their averages are really good, whether they're hitting home runs or not. So they are living and dying on power right now, are the Chicago White Sox. They're no longer an embarrassment in the National League, in the American League Central for sure.
I agree. They're not an embarrassment. They're just, I think a lot of these teams are early, which is a good sign for Major League Baseball. You don't want to see the same cellar dwellers every single year. We have a couple of minutes here. Can you pull up that clip of Terry Francona from
from earlier?
I know John Boy Media had it.
Yes.
Did anybody see? This was from yesterday, right?
Yeah, this was from yesterday.
Did anybody see the Reds and the Phillies yesterday? Chase Burns. Was that against Harper?
Yeah. He got a comebacker right on the inner thigh.
Except he was turned around. I mean, that was like the way that he was standing was tough. He got hit in a tough spot on a line drive. He made the play, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He got hit there. He ran and grabbed the ball, flipped it over to first. But Terry Francona was asked about it yesterday, about Chase Burns getting hit in the jewels, if you will, or the meat.
It hit him kind of in the meat of the, hamstring kind of. I mean, man, I'll tell you what, that was scary. Then he ran off the mound. I thought he was okay. And then he got in the dugout and looked like he was dead. And I asked him, I said, hey, man, please tell me you have a cup on. And he said, no. I was like, Chase, I said, I don't even watch a game on TV without wearing a cup. I said, golly, man, you guys are crazy. It hit him.
It hit him in the meat. There's a drop in there somewhere.
Yeah, there is. And we'll leave that one to the morning show. But for those of you who are watching on on stream, yeah, you're going to get.
Are you kidding me with this rated R stuff here?
Stop it.
You showing off your legs again?
So what happened? So what happened was he was up, like after he released the pitch, right? His leg was up after releasing the pitch. It hit him right here is where it hit him on the leg that was down. So what are you doing?
Not suitable for work, dude.
Oh, for God's sake. The leg that was down, it hit him like right in the inner thigh is where it hit him, on the leg that he was standing on.
He got hit in the meat, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even watch baseball without wearing a cup. Tito's great, dude. He's awesome. Getting the legs again. The casings are back. Starting to heat up outside, baby.
I know who that is, too.
That's awesome. Guy's getting frisky, showing off where Chase Burns got hit by a pitch, bro.
Oh, God.
NSFW, dog.
Don't worry.
For the visuals, man. We appreciate it.
I got you.
For everybody watching on YouTube.
I am
Children watch this show. Be better.
I watched.
You're not helping the cause for the kids watching on the iPads.
I grew up watching Who's Line, so I'm an improv guy.
Big improv guy.
Yeah,
my mistake.
If I've got props, I'm also a visual learner. So if I got props, I'll help you guys out. For those of you,
I don't
watching
need you to show off your legs with any type of props at all. At all. I'm filing a complaint to 2 letters. I don't like that. I feel uncomfortable now. I'm very uncomfortable.
I told a joke so funny. Human Resources wants to hear it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Did you already get the... Oh, you already got emailed. I'm taking away the 10 Odyssey coins that I was going to give to you. Just kidding. I don't know how that works.
That's not what I meant.
That is wild. Wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Foul. That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's not.
That is
like I had the little,
crazy.
Like, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I had the little gavel as a bat. What we were trying to show the swing plane for Fernando.
I'm going to quote my friend Christina. Please
stop talking.
That is crazy. She says that about anything in sports because she doesn't understand sports like that. And so she thinks they're all innuendos for something. Yeah. Oh, nice backdoor finish. That is crazy. Crazy.
That is kind of wild. That specific one is kind of wild.
All right. Lock it back in.
And Juan gets another foul too, by the way.
He draws the foul.
Get Franco in a gavel now. He needs to stop. Think about the children. It's a family show. Disappointed in you. All right. We got to give away tickets to Padres and Phillies
for Memorial Day on
Monday. If you are the first one to call in and correctly answer today's trivia question, you will win the tickets. In 1883, the Philadelphia team was awarded an expansion National League franchise to replace Worcester and the Brown Stockings, a franchise that had folded in 1882. What was the original name of the Philadelphia Phillies back in 1883? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. First one to call in and tell us what the Phillies' original name was, you will win today's tickets. We will tell you the answer when we come back. We will also get you the lineup that Juan was asking for that he's already seen. I don't know why he's asking for it, but whatever. We'll get to the lineup. We'll give you a preview of Padres and Dodgers when we come back as well.
Ben and Wood.
If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website, or you could get this, is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd at 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres themed patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogaerts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font, if you will, or San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. Presented by Canals. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's, the poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging friar on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, it's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on Tuesday, September 8th against the Washington Nationals. Dressed in the Padres City Connect 2.0, the Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf channels Nando's flair at the plate, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. Dynamic details of this bobblehead will make it a centerpiece for your collectibles. Again, we don't know what the City Connect uniforms are yet, but that is what that will look like. All right. I got a lot of questions after that. So we went to break. I'm trying to find. I don't know why it's not on here.
Congratulations to Noah in Vista for winning the tickets. And could you please call in again?
No. I think we have. Mind. I think I've done some research here.
To say, because we have some questions about your caller ID.
So he calls it. So again, did you tell everybody what the answer was?
The Philadelphia Quakers was the answer to the question,
which is funny because it's very close to the Quackers. Just like right up your alley. All right, so maybe I can find it on here, but here it is. So he calls in, and his caller ID was like the funny, without any context. Now I have context. Now it's not as much, but it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was Taco Auctioneer. And I'm just thinking about that in a literal sense of like somebody just auctioning off tacos. But that being said, now maybe I had to search it because again, it could be like a business. But with a little quick search, Taco Auctioneer apparently is, for everybody that is in like North County, that is an old Mexican restaurant that used to be across from the Cardiff State Beach. I searched it, and it was like,
he draws the foul.
Chat foul, Gonzo.
Come on, Gonzo. I searched it, and it was like immediately, it was classicsandiego.com/Mexican food restaurants. And it was a Mexican food restaurant, Cardiff by the Sea.
Oh, he called back in.
Yeah, he could probably tell you what it means. Maybe it is slang. Maybe it is something that Gonzo's saying.
Do we go with Noah and Vista?
I mean, you can. I thought it was I was picturing the whole thing about auctioning off tacos. And that was like the funny. I was dying laughing when I saw that. But there used to be a Yelp listing for it. Used to be a Mexican restaurant. It sounds like in Cardiff. What's the story, Noah?
You know, I think that's what it was. I lived here when I was little. I moved away for many, many years, and then I made an email address one time, like my second backup email address for just junk and signing up for things, and I did Taco Auctioneer, and I have no idea why it switched over to my caller ID, honestly.
Wow.
And it's not everybody I call. Like, some people I call, they don't, it's normal, and then some people I call, and they won't answer, and then when I find out later, they're like, it said Taco Auctioneer. I wasn't going to answer the phone. So, yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's my cool story.
Yeah, I thought maybe they gave you their old number or something like that from San Alejo. You have no connection to the old restaurant up there in Cardiff, which is also ironic that was the case.
It is more.
Yeah, no connection whatsoever. I don't even recall ever eating there when it was open or anything. And so yeah, it made for a cool email address. And then and then from there I got out of control. So I'm not sure why it does that, but that's kind of funny.
That's hilarious. I love it so much.
That is hilarious.
Oh,
he just
God.
Innocently just decided to make it his email address, and it popped up. It popped up as his caller ID, and people don't answer it now because they think it's a spam.
God,
that's funny. The other funny thing was,
where are Ben and Woods when you need them?
This whole hour is like a Ben and Woods show.
Run with Taco Auctioneer for the next week.
You know what? I think that needs to be on the Incorporator for next week.
Oh no.
Yeah, what triggered him to do that as his email address?
He said he was just looking for an email for spam and nonsense he was never going to look at. So he
came up with Taco Auctioneer.
Taco Auctioneer.
Juan in the YouTube chat.
Yeah,
I just applied to be a casings auctioneer. That's the name I knew. Over the line team name. Taco Auctioneers. Presented by the Braden Surprenant Show. You're playing casing auctioneers. Court 17.
Wonder which team I'll be on.
Definitely the taco one.
Yes,
just to confuse everybody. Yeah, apparently it used to be a restaurant, and then it was on this old website.
God.
Classic San Diego Mexican restaurants. Somebody wrote a review on it. It's like, I didn't see Taco Auctioneer on this list. There's a checklist of the classic Mexican food places in town. That's amazing.
1-star review. Not a single taco was auctioned off.
Oh boy. Maybe there's a reason why that place got shut down. Hey, you just don't know what you don't know, Frank. You learn something new every day. But that's his caller ID. Maybe he's just wasn't want to. We're on him.
Oh,
he's gonna get a bunch of phone calls now.
God,
what are you doing up there? What are you doing up there in North County?
It's so funny,
man. All right, we got the lineup. Fire up the lineup sounder. You owe Scraby a quarter every time you do that.
He owes me a quarter every time he uses our music, so it washes out.
I agree. Frank almost got the lineup by everybody but one. He missed it by 2 this time.
I did. Yeah, I missed the bottom 2.
Missed the bottom 2, but pretty close. Padres announced their lineup during the last segment. Are you okay?
Gonzo again.
Oh man. You got to stop falling into Gonzo's traps in the YouTube chat.
I'm just looking to see what the chats are. He just happened to be the next one up. I read the chat and then I saw who said it.
Got him.
My God.
Got him. Leading off playing second base is Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting second, the designated hitter is Miguel Andujar. Batting third, and at first base is Gavin Sheets. Manny Machado bats cleanup, plays third base. Sander Bogarts bats fifth, plays shortstop. Batting sixth, and in center field is Jackson Merrill. Nick Castellanos roams it in right field. He bats seventh. Ramon Laureano bats eighth, and is a left fielder. And Freddie Fermin is catching Randy Vasquez and batting ninth. Randy Vasquez is starting pitcher today for the San Diego Padres. He's 5-1 with a 2.68 ERA, 45 strikeouts on the season. Going against Shohei Ohtani, who not only will pitch, but he will bat leadoff today for the Dodgers. He's 3-2 with a 0.82 ERA and 50 strikeouts. Ohtani bats leadoff and is the pitcher today. Mookie Betts plays shortstop, bats second. Freddie Freeman bats third and plays first base. Kyle Tucker plays right field, bats fourth. Will Smith batting fifth is the catcher today for Shohei Ohtani. Max Muncy bats 6th, plays third base. Andy Pages plays center field. He bats 7th. Teoscar Hernandez plays left field. He bats 8th. And Hyesung Kim plays second base and bats 9th for the Dodgers. First pitch will be at 5:40. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. You good?
Oh, I'm fine, yeah.
Big Daddy Casings.
I am all good.
Oh, man.
It's not a rivalry, though.
It's not.
Not a rivalry.
We don't let Ohtani really hit too much anymore when he pitches, but we're going to do it against the Padres. I would find that flattering if I was San Diego. They're worried about you.
Yeah.
They do a lot of this stuff because they're worried about you. You don't do this to nobodies. Like, what does Manny say? They don't boo nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the Padres. I mean, Padres be able to take 2 out of 3 is going to be good. I agree with you, Frank. This is the first time, and we talked about this at the beginning part of the show. This is the first time in a while that the Padres and Dodgers have been kind of evenly matched. I mean, you had 2 one-run games. Hopefully tonight, Padres are able to be able to get it done to take 2 out of 3. But it's a very evenly matched series so far, and I would imagine this is going to be an evenly matched season series for the Padres. What is your bold prediction tonight?
Bold prediction.
Aside from
tonight.
you and I claiming that Fernando's going to hit a home run every single night.
Obviously.
Brandon and Carlsbad said he'll get one off Ohtani.
Freddie Fermin hits a double tonight.
Double for Fermin.
Down the line.
Wow. That's pretty good. I think Ohtani gives up 3 runs. I think the Pods get him for 3. I mean, I don't know how many times Ohtani has pitched against the Padres off the top of my head in a Dodger uniform, but I remember when he was with the Angels, he got rocked 4th of July weekend. I think the Padres get him a couple times. I think they get 3 runs on Ohtani, and I think Randy Vasquez matches Ohtani in terms of the success. I think he goes 6 innings tonight. Give me Randy Vasquez for 6. Give me 3 runs on Ohtani. My bold predictions.
Yeah, give me a double down the line for Freddie Fermin. And I guess I'll
Would you like that animal style? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do a
with or without onions?
Without. I'm good. And then I guess for a pitcher, Wandy Peralta, 2 strikeouts if he pitches tonight.
Wow, Wandy Peralta. He hadn't pitched in a couple of days.
He's only threw 10, so I would have to assume he's going to go today. So I'll give say 2 strikeouts for Peralta.
2 strikeouts for Peralta. I like that. That'd be cool. All right. Taco auctioneer. Tell you, that's a great incorporator word. I can't believe that's that guy's caller ID. That's.
I'm surprised
crazy.
Somebody hasn't showed up in the chat already with the name Taco Auctioneer.
I know. Sure.
I'm surprised no one has made a Taco Auctioneer account yet.
I like our bold predictions. Well, put your bold predictions in the YouTube chat if you haven't done so already. You can tweet us your bold predictions.
Jake Waters saying for me in 2 tases, 3 runs by he's taking our parlay. Got it.
So that's never going to hit now.
Yeah, no, you
know what? We
that.
gave too many people a false sense of hope with the 5 runs yesterday.
Trav saying Merrill goes yard.
Good call. I did that one yesterday. It got Manny to hit one. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the Padres Roundtable. Epic Padres Roundtable presented by Wings and Things. Our Epic Wings. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.